Way! Hello, viewer. It is. I've been drinking, by the way. Sorry. It is Tuesday, December the 27th, 2022. Happy Christmas or happy, what is it, festive bank holiday if you're in the UK. I don't think the USA, I think they're at work today. Poor USA. Anyway, I am Santa Brown and I have the biggest sack of goodies on YouTube that will be emptied for your pleasure. And as I said previously, I've been drinking and I'm a lightweight. I've not had a drink in 2 years and it's gone straight to my head. On this evening's stream podcast, we are discussing the events of the past 48 hours. In the entertainment and on the social media. And before we begin, you can find us here on the YouTube. Or if you prefer your entertainment in the podcast form, we are on Spotify. So, as I always say, lots to get through. Shall we get the guests out? I think we should. I will say the alcohol has taken the edge off the nerves, so there you go. So, first, set your Jedi power wands to stunning and brave. We have the wonderful, not Branter clause. The
child is a king. The carol.
Oh, hi, Cliff. Hi, Cliff.
Hey, guys. Brownie, good evening. Good evening, chat. Good evening, Matt, Cat, and Ian. Hope you all had a very Merry Christmas.
I think you've fucked, what you call it, off with your
Cat
singing. He's fucked off.
He's gone critical.
He'll be back.
Hey, Brian. You all right?
I know my singing's bad, but I don't think leaving the stream was very appropriate, lads.
Yeah.
He's back.
I told you he'll be back. There you go.
Hi, sorry, I apologize. My internet just shut off all of a sudden.
We thought you was offended by the Cliff Richard singing, folks. Oh, hi, I'm Cliff Richard. Hi. Moving on. That was a stream killer, folks. So, are you well, Brian? Good Christmas.
Yes, I'm not bad. Thank you very much for asking. I hope you're very well yourself, Brown.
I can't get rid of the cough.
Alcohol out your bloodstream
from the COVID. It's still lurking, still in there. Yeah.
Yeah, I know the feeling.
Shall we? Well, he's out already. Shall we get him on? Okay. This script has gone as well. Sorry, guys. I can't even read it. I'm going cross-eyed. He is the backbone of Sunday night. It is the mighty.
He's gone. I think he's got a bad connection.
I think we've all got a bad connection.
He's back.
He just wants me to bring him on.
I apologize. I really do apologize. I don't know what's happening all of a sudden.
Do you know what the hey Matt? Do you know what the secret of comedy is?
The timing.
Indeed. All right, pal. It's Matt Cat 83. Everybody, I would say he's the backbone of Sunday night, but I'm not so sure now. Are you well, mate?
I'm good.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure. I'm just having for some odd reason, all of a sudden technical difficulties. I don't know what happened, but hopefully it doesn't happen.
I will say, top tip: always reboot the router before you come on a live stream.
That's a good.
I did that tonight, Brown, and nearly never made it because it took about thanks to Virgin Media.
Yeah.
Oh, so, I promise. Next time I'll do that.
So, are you well, Catty? Yeah, everything good? Yeah.
Everything is good. I am well.
Shall we get the? Well, he's out already. Shall we get the next wise elder out?
Absolutely, absolutely.
And last but by no means least, he is the wise elder of the channel. You know the rest. It is the great mega geek. Oh, he's not last. Here we go. Next, he is the wise elder of the channel. You know the rest. He is the great mega geek himself, Ian David Diaz.
Hello, everybody.
And I just booted him off by mistake. Hello, Ian. It's going well, this.
How you doing? All right?
Yeah, we're not
Everybody
bad at you.
Yep, I'm okay. I'm okay.
We have spoke. You did have a good Christmas. Yes, we have spoken.
I did. Yeah, I did. Had a good Christmas. I was on the Rabbi's channel today, and he's absolutely crazy. That guy.
He is. I love the rabbi.
Mental.
Funny guy. I love him.
He's mental. There you go.
There's a surprise guest. Everybody, shall we get him out?
Get him out of the closet.
Yeah.
Shall we? Shall we praise everybody in the chat? Praise be. Praise be. He walks. He walks
like a man?
amongst. Yes, he's walking amongst the pheasants. Here he is. It's the Lord.
I'm walking like an Egyptian out of the closet that I
shit!
apparently
If I knew he was going to be on, I would have not come on this.
It's the Christopher Hitchens of Star Wars. It's
Exactly.
the little platoon.
The lad is here, everybody. The lad.
Merry New
The
Year's
lad.
and happy Crimbles and all the rest of it.
Good Christmas lad with
Yeah, tiring. But I find socializing exhausting. Like in real life, you guys are an exception because I can mute myself and my camera isn't on even, so I can do anything. But family for days on end. Oh my god! Like one is fine.
Did you give the servants Boxing Day off?
Some of them, yeah, but obviously you need to keep a certain amount of staff on hand to cook the dinner for me and the family.
Yes.
So yeah, some of them got the day off.
And did you get everything your heart desired?
Well, they all got each of them got a lump of coal in their table because they have to keep warm, and energy bills are high. But did I get everything I wanted? I bought myself everything I wanted, so yes.
Somebody buy more
Saw
port.
that very good.
More port.
Dad has loaded me up with about 14 different kinds of whiskey, and then I bought myself 2 guitars, and that's me done for Christmas. So
wow.
Have you got port on draft?
I don't, sadly. No, we don't really have the infrastructure for the port draft here. I just have to have dozens and dozens of bottles of whiskey on reserve.
That's cool.
That's living the life, folks. You heard it here. Okay. So everything good, Ben? Yes, sounds great, mate. Yes.
All fantastic, yeah.
Should we just get on with it before I fall over?
Yeah.
Hello,
Go on,
chat.
man.
Hello, chat. We can see you. Hello. I'm a little bit worse for wear because I'm a lightweight, but we can see you. So, episode 109, Christmas holiday musings. I didn't know what to call it today, but I thought I'd go Christmas holiday musings. Tuesday, December 27th, 2022. Nearly 2023. Can you believe it? Oh my God. I can't read that, but you're welcome. Okay. This show was going to be out yesterday, but life gets in the way sometimes. So, Christmas movie. We've been doing kind of a Christmas theme last couple of streams. This is It's a Wonderful Life.
Great film.
Who would like to start?
It is a good film.
Ian, would you like to
Well,
start?
no, Ian. Yeah, do it, Ian.
No, Matt, go ahead, pal.
Yeah, go on, Matt. You were really keen off
I
the
was-
blocks there. You go for it, son.
I was just gonna say I haven't seen this movie in like 3 years. I usually watch it every Christmas, but I haven't since my kids don't really like live action movies. Plus, it's black and white, so I know they'll not be into that at all. But I love this movie so much. It's such a good Christmas movie. It's heartwarming. I find it suspenseful, but it's the ending is so good. It's like ridiculous. They don't make them like they used to, and yeah. I used to watch this on Turner Classic Movies when I was a little kid, and I really do love this movie. I think it has a good message also. But yeah, those are my thoughts on this movie. Off the top of my head.
Did you used to watch this film with your mother? What would your mother say about this film?
I honestly no. I don't do things like the way my parents used to do. My parents used to just be like, they would just let us go watch movies movies in front of the TV while my mom was basically making dinner, Christmas dinner and stuff like that, and food. So no, she didn't watch this movie with us a lot. It would probably have been nice if she did, but didn't happen. Didn't happen. She was in the kitchen doing woman's work.
Yeah.
Branter?
Yes. Oh, it's me. It's me. I forgot. It's
Yeah,
me.
it's not Branter. I
I've
can't
seen
keep
this
up with the name.
It's obviously this film's had a big cultural influence. I've seen this film once, believe it or not, back in 2004, and someone interrupted it right in the very last scene, so I can't say it was one of my favourites at all, I'm afraid. But Bedford Falls, Christmas Eve. It's a mention in the Red Dwarf book, actually, way back. It's definitely a classic. I think this film was actually recommended for people who are suffering from mild winter blues and possibly depression by some crazy doctor one by. It's one of these films that kind of restores your faith in humanity, but obviously it's fiction, so that doesn't really hold up, does it? But it's definitely a classic. It reminds me, or rather, there's another film that reminds me of it slightly, and that's The Family Man with Nicolas Cage in it.
I like
Slightly
that
different
one too.
piece, but that is one of my favourite Christmas films, and it's. I think some of the crossovers in between the two films. I saw The Family Man first, which is kind of shafted. It's a Wonderful Life for me, but I need to give it a watch at some point.
Yeah, I think I've not watched this in a long, long time. In the chat, Happy Christmas. Never seen it. And then Appion. Hello, Appion. You should watch it. It's timeless. Yeah.
It is. It is.
Andy Mouse. Hello, Andy. Jimmy Stewart. Oh, wow.
Jimmy Stewart.
Yeah.
Lord, have you seen A Wonderful Life?
It's a Wonderful Life is one of those films, there's a lot of them, that I'm quite sure I've seen, but don't ever remember watching.
Yeah,
So
same here.
I'm sure if it came on TV, I'd suddenly think, oh yeah, I remember this one. But until it comes on TV, I don't remember a single thing about it. I think I must have been quite small.
Do you guys have Turner Classic movies over there?
We used to.
We used to.
We don't
Oh,
still have it. I
gotcha.
thought we still had it.
No, we don't. It's not Turner anymore. They got taken over here, didn't they?
It's
Because
probably
of the
called
culture.
classic
right.
movies or something. I don't know.
Yeah. But we don't have Turner over here anymore.
Ian, your thoughts on this film then?
It's a great movie. It's when I first watched it, I thought it was a bit taxing, and watching it. But the more times I watch it, the more I realise it's a brilliant movie. It didn't take much money when it was first released. In fact, it was a huge flop when it was first released. It's only through time that's become this classic Christmas movie. But everything makes sense, doesn't it? He tries to stop the guy from sending out poison. He gets slapped in the ear, and he can't hear him in that ear. And he meets Miss Ellie, and was it Miss Ellie? Yeah, meets Miss Ellie. Yeah, and he can't escape the town, and it's the whole idea that he thinks his life is not as much as it can be, but he doesn't realize that everyone he's touched, he's made better through his life, and hence It's a Wonderful Life. And it suddenly just changes tack when the angel appears. It becomes a little fantastical, but it's great. It's a great movie. You can see the influences in Gremlins. Bedford Falls. They have that town. I can't remember what the town is. It what's the town called in this film? I can't remember. Is it Bedford
Falls? Yeah.
And there's the town that's called in Gremlins. I can't remember, but it's very similar. So they have very similar characters. Mr. Potter, they have the old woman and stuff.
Appion says he saves his war hero brother from drowning.
He does, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Final act.
And the ending almost made me cry, because it's so wonderful. The ending, it is. Humanity. It proves, proves that humanity is great, basically. So. Yeah, fantastic movie as far as I'm concerned.
I think maybe we should watch it before the festive period ends.
I've seen it. I saw it before Christmas. I sat down and watched the whole thing before Christmas.
I think the last time I saw this, I was living with my ex-girlfriend in Leeds, and that was nearly 20 years ago. So
it's on Amazon for free. You can watch it for free on Amazon.
Oh
That's
man.
where I saw it. That's where I saw it.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Every time a bell rings, an angel gets its wings.
every time a bell rings, the Lord gets a new subscriber.
Yeah, yeah.
Ding, ding, ding.
Every time a
Well,
bell
that's why I
rings,
have to
somebody
keep
fills
my
up fills up his
damn
port
microphone
glass.
muted.
It's like, somebody turn that fucking bell off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right
Okay.
on.
Lord, have you hit 100 yet?
No, 95, I think. So
Oh.
probably, I would hazard a guess and say
Good for
'cause
you.
I've got Avatar, which I'm still working on, but it's incredibly long, and I don't want to have to actually put in the work to put it out. So I might half-ass the video edit on Avatar and stick that out, and it's long as hell anyway, and just have that as a New Year's Day. Happy New Year! Here's some aquarium footage while I bitch about this.
Is that is your video longer than the film
It
itself?
actually is, yeah.
Oh.
I told
hell.
myself, I sat down beforehand and I said,
That's
that
so
I'm not
funny.
going to do that. That's not going to happen this time. It's not going to be longer than the film. I think I'm not quite halfway through recording the script and it's over 2 hours. So it's,
You're slowly becoming the James Cameron of YouTube.
yeah, I trail everything for years and then I just deliver something that's derivative crap and with like nice, pretty ocean visuals. That might actually that will be my meta comment on the film, is that I've put as much effort into the like imagining the world as he did. But yeah, it's I really don't want to do it, but one way or another it'll be out, and I'm hoping, depending on what else comes out and what else I can come up with, I might hit 100,000 in January.
You
with
must
a bit of
have,
luck.
Ian. You must have seen the Corridor Crew when they were talking about the effects in Avatar 2.
I've
And
not
there's a-
seen it. Not seen it yet. No.
All right, so there's a shot in it that is not CG; it's real.
Oh yeah, it's a hand,
They-
isn't it? or
Yeah,
something?
they painted this guy's hands blue when he's pulling the thing, and they were all amazed. They were like, "That's not CG, that's real." And I didn't. I thought it was CG when I was watching it. That's
It's a fucking
amazing.
hand.
It's a hand. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
hand. Yeah, crazy.
Okay. Right, let's move on. Let's see what we've got. Just a short one tonight, folks, just to, something to do, as it were. So, a lot. Oh,
Avatar.
it's kind of, people are saying it's underperforming, but I don't know, is this going to be a slow burner?
Apparently, it's made some money, isn't it?
What do you
Well, it
think?
has,
I don't
but
know.
This is the mad thing, is that it can be considered a slow burner, having made already $900 million. For any other film, that's not a slow burn. It underperformed its initial box office expectation by about 20 million, I think it was. But with a film like Avatar, which is the only thing out at the cinema, because in the name of competition, everyone has stood out of the way and let it go. There's no way it will make under $1 billion. That's almost not really the point of it. It just has to make $1 billion to start being.
Yeah, this was yesterday's. I assume that'll be about 950 now, maybe approaching.
I think it has. I think it has reached $1 billion worldwide.
Right. Well, it's
And
not bad.
I
I
should
think
check,
12
'cause
days.
there is, on my second channel, there is some guy who seems to think that citing box office figures is a good counter-argument to any film criticism. And he made a commitment to keep updating my comment section with the current box office performance of Avatar, because apparently it disproves everything I say. So I just said, well, go ahead, because, I want to make some money too, so please do keep feeding my algorithm.
Right.
But I'll check back. I'm sure he'll give me the updated figure any minute now.
Have you got any channel stalkers yet? Then,
Apart from you, Brown.
apart from me, obviously.
No, yeah, there's definitely a few people who only pop up to complain.
Yeah, I've noticed a few. Yeah.
Yeah, but they're usually complete morons, and so it's kind of fun.
Oh,
it's
that's
a good way.
definitely me then.
I will. Yeah, one of them. Maybe you're a nice moron. No, I will. I'll look it up first thing in the morning. It's a
I
great
will
way.
say, Lord, you're welcome. By the way, don't forget that.
But you know,
I'm very grateful.
it's just
Yeah,
people's
and-
opinions, isn't it? I mean, it's your opinion, it's people's opinions. That people should be happy
Opinions
that
like
we have so many
arseholes.
opinions, isn't it? That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. That's the beauty of filmmaking, that people have so many different views. I like that. But anyway,
And no,
Right.
so
don't take it
do
the
I.
wrong way.
My yeah. It's not all opinions are equal. That's the Douglas Adams thing. Some are a bit more supported in argument, weight, and logic than others. But I'm happy. I love it when people come along with very different opinions. It's when people fundamentally misunderstand yours or misconstrue your argument or say or don't make the same allowance. So like, I will accept and quite enjoy it when people will come and say under the comment section, well, you've criticized this about the film. Here's why I don't think it's a problem. That's good fun. You can have a conversation about that. It's people who come along and say, you just want to hate it because you're a hater and you hate everything. And I just think, well, just fuck off.
But you're adjacent, though,
Right.
aren't you?
I'm adjacent to many things, yes.
Yeah, okay. I thought you were. Happy on in the chat. This is his link to his channel, folks. I think he's on 800 subs. Help the fellow out. See if we can get him
I
into
think I've
Yeah.
subscribed, but I will double check.
See if we can get
I
into
have-
1,000. I'll just say, many YouTubers who it's effectively it's the target, isn't it, to get to 1,000 subs, and literally
Right.
every subscription, every click helps. I can see why a lot of YouTubers just they don't get anywhere and they just go, fuck this, because it can be a lot of hard work, and the only way it pays dividends is ask the Lord if people subscribe to the channel. It just helps. So click Appion's channel link there, guys. See if we can get up to 1,000. It's Christmas, time for giving and all that. So
Christmas.
Yes, and can I just say for this movie, it's really not doing as bad as people say it's doing. It has dropped 52%, which the first movie in its first week dropped 2%, which is it's doing a lot better. But it's in 12 days, it's reached 900 million, or I believe it's hit $1 billion now. But in 12 days, $1 billion. That's really good. I mean, I haven't seen the movie yet. I was gonna go see it today, but I ended up not going to see it.
weekend for me.
Yeah, that's really not that. That's really not that bad. I mean,
The
it's
bracket's
not bad
revised
at
upwards a
all.
little bit because it needs to make so much more money than your average film
Right.
just to be profitable. So the bracket has gone up. But if people, there are people who are going around, and there have been people going around saying, haha, look, it underperformed by 15 to 20 minutes first weekend, therefore it's a flop. I don't think it is a flop. That's why I don't
Right.
like it. It's very annoying because, as my second channel video said, it
Right.
deserves to flop, but it's not gonna. It will be very successful, largely self-fulfilling because everyone else looked at it and thought, there's an Avatar film coming out, that's the cinematic event, and in the name of competition, we will let it win. And that's what's happened. But I deny anyone who says that in 2 months' time they will remember anything especially about the film except that it looks really pretty, because that's all it's
Lord, I
going
meant
for.
to actually pick you up about that. Do you think this film deserves to flop is a little bit strong,
No.
considering all the people who worked on this film?
They got paid, didn't they?
I think the reason
Brutal.
why it's made money is because it's an okay film and people are getting some enjoyment out of it. If it was a really shit movie, it would flop big time. But it's not. It's in between. It's one of those movies where I can see the criticism definitely from Gerry, from other people as
Yeah.
well. But for me, right, I found it enjoyable and passable. Obviously, it's not. I'm not going to be thinking about it after I leave the theater. Just put your brain in the foyer and watch the film. It's enjoyable enough. Come out and then carry on with your life.
Yeah, and
That's
like
what I
I
think,
think I don't mind that as a middle ground. Because I can see how you're sitting in the cinema. It is so sweeping in its visuals. It is so impressive in its visuals. It's an enjoyable cinematic experience. That's not the thing I take issue with. The thing I take issue with is when it calls itself in its trailer material the cinematic event of a generation, and when people come out of it saying, "What are you talking about? This is a deeply profound film with an incredible story." I would be happy if people said, "I really enjoyed it. It's a bit shit," because that seems to me, loads of films are like that. Arnie's career is based off of films that are shit but really enjoyable, right?
But that's
great.
my review of
Predator.
it. It was okay, but it was
T2.
shit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's my
True
review
Lies.
of it. And as I said, if it was a terrible movie,
Terminator.
people would be not watching it in droves. But it isn't. It's okay. It's just not great.
I don't know. I think they would. That's more of my meta problem with the success of the film is that I think that the problem is that people will flock in their droves to see
It's nostalgia
something
based.
which doesn't have, and it's not even that because does
Really?
anybody? Well, who really fondly remembers the first film? Apart
young
from again the
kids who-
fact that it looks
young
pretty.
kids who went to see it, who are now
I do
probably
remember
grown
the
up.
first one, but I can't tell you what happened in it. That's the thing.
The only reason I can tell you what happens is because it's beat for beat Dances with Wolves, which is a film I do remember.
A western.
And then this film, the plot of this film is almost a carbon copy. In almost all of its most important story beats, it's the same film again. And if I was annoyed at the first film for being
No,
incredibly derivative, I'm very annoyed at the second one for being derivative of a derivative film.
Quickly, if I may, Hossman says at Mr. Brownline says me, Mr. It's excuse me, it's Lord Platoon. Kindly,
I'm
Lord
so sorry I called you the Lord.
It's the Lord. the
You didn't
Lord.
know you were starting.
The Lord kindly took the time to answer 2 of my questions in his comments section.
You're welcome.
There you
I
go.
try and answer as many of them as I can get to. I always like chatting with people who have good questions and people who make really good points. And there are some people who are just there to be insulting idiots, and it's quite fun to play them at their own game as well. But as long as you're, I love. Like, it's why I always stick around for the live premieres and stuff for the videos that I do. Is because it is.
I thought you were going to say this is why I come on the Brown Show.
It's also why I come to the show. No, it's great. It's honestly, it's the most fun part of it. These videos take such a long time to put together. It's grueling, and it's quite often it's really horrible and boring.
You've got to kick
And
back
there's a nice-
sometimes with the boys and girls,
Yeah, exactly. There's a payoff for that. You get to you meet really great people. You get to chat with them in the comments. You get to chat with them in the chat, and you get to come on lovely streams with lovely people like you guys. So that's the payoff for all of it.
You're welcome,
Also, it
by
pays
the
me
way.
money, so there's that. But
Yes.
Speaking of money, shall we do a super chat?
absolutely.
why not?
If you must.
Lord, would you do me the honour of reading this one, please?
This is
Mr. Blue here.
$1.99 from
Who's it
Movie
from?
Cynic.
Yes. Do we know this guy?
I know how
Do
this
we know
works.
him? Do we know him?
Yeah, he's.
Look at that
seems
little
vaguely
cutie with his
familiar.
blue hair.
I think it
Oh,
was
it's
him in wasn't
Blue
he
Boy,
in
isn't it? Yeah,
the
it's
Halo
Blue Boy.
show?
Yeah, Blue
Or
Boy.
was he in
yeah.
Star Trek Discovery? He looks like a Star Trek Discovery character because he has the blue hair.
Woke as
One of the
fuck.
two.
This
He
boy.
says,
Adorable.
anyway, from the movie Cynic for $1.99, Avatar 2 is why I need heart surgery. And because you're American and you need heart surgery, you probably
not
shouldn't be
joking.
giving out $2 super chats just because you have to pay for that stuff, don't you? But I'm sure Brad is
Health
very thankful.
insurance. He's got health insurance, hasn't he?
I hope so.
He hated Avatar too, didn't he? Made me laugh. Last
He
time I was
hates,
speaking to him.
he
Yeah.
hates everything.
He
Though.
hated it. Hated it.
Yeah.
Hated it with a passion.
He just hates everything.
Yeah.
I haven't actually, I haven't seen this film, and I
you gonna
refuse
go
to
s-
do so
Really?
because of the cultural appropriation that's disrespectful to people of the colour blue. No, I didn't like the first one particularly. It looked very nice, so I can't be
Yeah.
arsed watching this one.
Hostman likes the blue Navy girl. Was hot. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as
What's up with
Brian.
you guys
I'm just
with-
like,
I'm into
ahead,
green
you-
anyway.
It's
You got
got a
my-
strange fetish you two the guys have got. It's green is
Every time
blue.
it's green. Yeah, green. God.
I like the pink ones.
Silly.
Moving on, moving on.
Honestly, that was the other one of the difficult things about it is that there are so many main characters in this film, and they all look so very similar that all the way through the review, I kept having to go. Well, for the first half, I kept googling which character was which because I couldn't remember like which son is which son
Yeah.
does this. And I thought, you know what, fuck it. I'm obviously not supposed to remember, so I'm just going to make up a name and hope that I'm applying it to the right Smurf this time. And
Is
it probably
Nokia
hasn't.
in this one?
Nokia is not, so I can delete that damn ringtone from my computer finally.
Papa Smurf? Is he?
There will probably be quite a few actual Smurfs in my review, just to save time.
It is a
really-
dumb movie, though. It is a very
that's sort
dumb
of
movie.
that's the problem. It is the story is incredibly repetitive in terms of it is just in many instances just a repeat of the first film. There is that. Its character work is almost non-existent for the most part. It touches on what people are obliged to call good themes. It stresses family and fatherhood, but it's been really interesting to note that the really passionate defenders of this film in my comment section have been saying things
James
like the director has a brilliant vision, it has really interesting themes, and it's trying something new. And it's the cast iron rule of this channel that everything goes back to The Last Jedi. So many Avatar defenders are just exactly the same, and it crosses the political art as well, because you get people who say, well, it talks about fatherhood, therefore it's anti-woke. No, that's the themes argument from TLJ. Themes do not make a good film.
It is deeply racist, though, isn't it? Because they didn't get blue actors to play the parts.
Yeah,
But you know what?
That is a
Critical
problem.
Drinker said something that was really interesting. He said, why would that stupid human that hangs out with the blue people wear that mask? I mean, he's got unlimited oxygen in that tank. and you know, I mean, anyone can rip that mask off him, and he's screwed. Do you know what I mean? And why would you have that character, you know, have that mask on his face and hang out with the blue people
Don't
for
know.
any periods of long time? And he makes it. That's how dumb the film is. But
Oh yeah, he is. He's also like a the classic example of the non-character is Spider, that kid who is just just there standing around for the most part, and his motivation doesn't exist, and his character what doesn't exist. He can't act either. Still, though, I think the height of hilarity
And what a
in terms
dumb
of its bad
frickin'
writing
name.
is the beginning. It's like, how do you
Easy.
bring back the dead villain from the first film in the most ridiculous way you could possibly bring back the dead villain from the first film?
Don't spoil it.
Well, I'm not spoiling it. Everyone knows he's back. I just won't tell you how. You'll have to enjoy it for yourself when you see it. I had to laugh out loud when I saw it. But
I thought it was dumb as well. But as I said, it didn't. You know, at the end of the day, I did enjoy what I saw, especially the ending. The climax was pretty cool, but. You know, the rest of it's all dumb, isn't it? Really dumb. So anyway,
What was the justification for him coming back? Was it a kind of somehow Palpatine returned moment?
basically,
It's
am I
worse.
allowed to? Am I allowed to spoil this?
I'm not going to watch it.
Oh,
It's
I
been
will not
2
want it
weeks.
spoiled.
I say do it. It's been 2 weeks. If you didn't see it, that's your
okay,
problem.
right. Listen, everybody. Spoilers approaching. You've been warned. Spoilers.
So
I might take my headphones off. For
yeah,
them.
just take
Oh
your
no!
headphones.
If you don't want to spoil it, I'll save it because you'll get to see it eventually. I don't mind either way.
No, I'm gonna take my headphones off for a second.
Okay.
So
Well, you have
spoilers, everybody. You've been
2
warned.
seconds.
You've
So-
been warned.
the villain from the first film is basically he's Chip Hazard from Small Soldiers, generic evil army buzzcut guy. You'll remember him if you see him because nothing he says isn't a cliche. He dies, very clearly dies in the first film. He's shot through the heart twice with a big arrow by Smurfette. In this film, he's back. He's back as a Smurf clone that Chip Hazard had created for himself to go on a revenge mission against the guy that he didn't know had killed him yet and didn't know would be involved in his death and didn't think he would die. And he actually says in the video log that he leaves a video log to explain this nonsense to the audience. Here you are. I've made you as my clone. You have all of my memories except the moment of my death. I'm not going to die, but in case I do die, you might want to take revenge against this guy who hasn't killed me yet.
Sorry, that I
What
couldn't
are you
resist it. That sounds
doing?
shit.
I laughed out loud. It's actually hilarious, and it just carries on. And then
Good old Cameron.
He has a relationship with Spider, and it's just yeah.
Yeah, but it makes you wonder, why didn't Cameron just create a new villain? Why
I
did he have to
know.
go back to that guy? Because he was
a
he's
fucking
clearly
bad
dead.
villain. Yeah, he's a good
And then they
villain
make up
now.
the excuse, oh, he's got the memories of the dead guy. It's like, well, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just so
And then he has a
stupid.
particular
Does he
type
find
of relationship with Spider, which I'm not going to
Yeah,
spoil because
yeah.
not everyone has seen it. But like, it doesn't make sense because it relies on him actually being the person that he himself
Yeah.
says that he's not, because he just has his memories. But why? You're right. Why not create a good new villain who could actually add something to the film besides what the fuck moments every single time he's in the scene?
Everybody's saying that he's on a redemption arc, apparently.
I wouldn't be
And does
surprised
he-
at all. No.
Does he find out that it wasn't the dude? What's his name from the main character from the first movie? It was actually Zoe Saldana's character that killed him because she shoots
Yeah,
him
he
right
finds-
in
yeah,
the first
yeah.
one. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, he
Oh,
finds
okay.
out.
Because I was gonna say,
But
but he wants.
it's one of
but he
those
thinks
things that
Sully
doesn't really
did it.
matter. He thinks
Oh,
originally
okay.
that Sully does it, but because remember it hasn't happened. So
Also,
it's just I don't. Yeah.
Ben, also, right, I can't
Lord,
remember
by the way,
him
Lord.
having a son
He didn't.
in the first one. So
It's
where
not-
did he come from?
It's not in the first film at all. They had to throw it in exposition in the first 5 minutes of this film. It was also there was this baby kid who was just left around, and he was too small to fit in a cryo tube, so he's running around. And then Spider's first line of dialogue is, "It's not always good to know who your father is." And then we learn that but he wasn't in the first film, and the
wasn't.
first film was quite clearly never written with him in mind,
Yeah,
which is why he sticks out like such a sore thumb in this one.
That's why it's
Scott
stupid. It's
Hall
pretty
is thanking
stupid.
you, Lord. You've saved him a few bucks.
Honestly, no, I don't. I like people going to see films and making up their own mind. And
Exactly.
this is one of them.
Exactly.
There are things to admire in the film. I mean, it really is a beautiful film.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And I think it goes a bit too far with that. You know, it goes for too long. There's no contrast. Everything is beautiful, so nothing is. But, it is a beautiful film. There are some good action sequences. There will be things that you can enjoy about it. There are things that are entertaining about it. My problem is that I don't like that the big film that everyone has to watch because it's the cinematic event of a generation and no one else releases films to compete with it is one with a writing level, with writing on the level of a generic Arnold Schwarzenegger film, not even a good one. It's fine if something like, I don't know, what's a bad Arnie film that no one really remembers?
Raw Deal.
Raw Deal. Okay, it's
I like
fine.
that one.
It's fine that Raw Deal exists.
Exactly.
And it's fine that it's enjoyable. But if you're told that Raw Deal is the cinematic event of a generation and it's the film everyone has to go and see and it's the pinnacle of cinema this year and everyone flocks to see it, I think there's a problem with the art form.
Yeah, that's just the PR department, though, isn't it? Trying to get the 2 billion.
And the box office, apparently. So it's silly, having some effect.
But the main thing is, everybody's talking about it.
Yes.
Yes.
I generally enjoyed it, but I as I was watching it, I knew it was dumb as a box of freaking frog. And but I still enjoyed the ending. I thought the ending was quite exhilarating. The special effects were beautiful. The middle sags big time.
Oh god, yeah.
The message is so heavy.
That's
The
what she
messaging
said.
is so heavy in the whole of the film.
The
You just have to laugh
message.
halfway through it. But again, if you're just looking for something to have fun, I guess go and see it.
Here you go. Happy on 6th day. Atom Grey. Eraser.
Oh no, we've started a name your shit Arnie film thing in the chat.
Razor. Ray wasn't too bad a Razor. I thought it was okay.
I am reliably told on Avatar the best way to go and see it is to take like 2 tabs of acid or get very drunk at the same
I
time.
can imagine. Yeah.
Go with some friends and effectively
Couple of
long
tabs,
out. And
yes.
apparently that's an incredible experience. I can well believe it. I didn't do it myself.
May I ask you how you saw it, Lord?
I went
eyes.
over to Indonesia, I think, and sat in a cinema with Spanish subtitles. But and then I came back the same evening. It was a really good holiday.
Well, I saw it in 3D. You know, the way it's supposed to be seen. So I guess
Yes.
watching it that way, you get a little bit more enjoyment out of it. It's still dumb,
Yeah. And I think I've actually mentioned that in the review, which is that I'm kind of happy the version,
Nice
the
plug.
cinema I went to, which I definitely did in Indonesia for 3 hours, the quality wasn't very good because I know that the film looks amazing and I can imagine it really is brilliant in 3D, and that's an entirely new kind of cinematic experience. But my problem with it, and I say in the review, is that that's a really fantastic experience. But it is, I think in the last time we were on the stream, I mentioned it too, this sort of the feelies aspect from Brave New World, which is that it's sensory stimulation, but it's not actually imparting meaning. And I like the idea that narrative storytelling, which cinema should really be, also has a story to tell, meaning to impart, which is distracted from by Avatar as a sensation, as opposed to Avatar as a story. And so I was happy I didn't watch it in particularly good quality because I knew it would look amazing. What I was more interested in was what's the message, how is it written, and what's the quality of story being told at the height of cinema this year. That was the way in which it massively fell down. But admitting that it would, nevertheless, I'm sure, be an incredible experience in 3D.
Ocellus Squadra Course, Kindergarten Cop.
That
Atom
was
Grey,
good.
Twins.
Kindergarten
Yeah, I
Cop.
love Kindergarten Cop.
Twins is fun. Twins is
Yeah, I
really
love
fun.
Twins too. Yeah, I love Twins.
Ahead of the curve, though, wasn't it? Men getting pregnant. Very ahead of the curve.
No, that wasn't
Wrong
Twins.
film.
Wrong film.
Yeah, that's Junior. Junior is the pregnant man film.
Stream Killer. Stream
Yeah.
Killer.
Junior was
Okay.
absolute nonsense.
I'm going to go see this at the weekend. I will report back.
Good stuff.
Do it.
Oh, good for you.
Do it.
I will say I watched Starship Troopers on acid at the cinema. That was incredible. Moving on.
Nice.
Guess what, folks?
No way.
No.
Yes, way. Yes, way.
Harry Potter and the trans community.
But the thing is, though, it's too
Potter's
soon.
getting rebooted.
It's too soon to reboot it. It's it's been how many years? It's just too soon.
Not when they're
It needs to
desperate
be
for
a-
money. This
It needs
is
to be away for a very long time before you
This
reboot
is
it.
Warner Bros. Discovery, folks.
Well, what
David
can't they just
Hasselhoff.
make more? What can't they just make? Well, like with the new ones. With that was a flop, wasn't it? What is it? The
Yeah,
other
the
one.
Fantastic Beasts franchise. They
Yeah.
are having problems with that. I think the biggest problem with that franchise is just you have J.K. Rowling, who I do think she can write a novel very well. It's a script for a movie that she has a problem with.
No,
I
the
think
reason
that,
the reason
she-
why Fantastic Beasts, the first one was entertaining. The reason why the rest of them flopped because it was boring,
Yeah, no, I
slow
think that
and boring. That's
yeah, there
why
was
they
no
flopped.
there was well, the third one I think had very some more action in it than
What the third
but
one?
There's
the
a
second
third one?
one.
Yeah, when
Yeah, there's
when you
three.
discovered that what's his name was gay, whatever's name was gay.
Yeah.
Is that one? Is it that
It's
one?
gay, yeah. Yeah,
What a
yeah,
load
where
of
they Mads
bollocks!
Mikkelsen. Oh,
Literally.
I like that movie. It was the second one that it only had the first 5 minutes. That was the best part of the movie. But the Fantastic Beasts franchise, I think it just suffers that J.K. Rowling. She likes to put a lot of talky, and
not
you
her.
need action.
It's
I
not
think it
her.
is her. I think she
No,
can't
it's
write a
not
movie
her.
script.
She didn't make the movie. She didn't
She
write
wrote the
screenplay
script.
either.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did. She wrote the script for
She
all
wrote the
three.
script, but somebody else helped write it as
Now
well.
only in the third one.
Welcome
The third
to
one,
Arguing
he
the
helped.
Toss
The
on
third one.
Mr. Brown
I'm sorry,
Alliance.
listen, I am the Harry Potter expert in this chat.
So
I know
did
what
she?
I'm talking about.
She wrote the
Yeah,
screenplay.
Ian, shut up.
She wrote the screenplay.
She wrote the
yeah?
screenplay for the first two movies, and then she co-wrote the script for the third movie with Stephen
What-
Kloves, who wrote the script for 5 of the or 6 of the original Harry Potter movies, and then he did not write the 6th movie.
Okay,
Blood
so
Prince.
so the reason why it flopped was because it was boring as hell. The other two, and the other one just basically
Yeah,
putting the message in there with
Brutal.
gay people and stuff. So the first one
Yeah,
was
I think-
okay actually, but it could have moved faster. The first one, but it didn't.
For
It's
sure,
very
yeah,
slow.
and I think that she's very wordy, and she needs to realize that movie scripts are not novels. You need to move it along at a faster pace, and she just wants to sit and talk, and people don't want to see that. Yeah, but I
Well,
I did
somebody
enjoy the
needs
third
to
one.
tell her. Somebody needs to tell her, don't they?
Well,
You know?
I think they
it was
did
caught up
tell
in the
her.
Depp Heard stuff as well, right? I mean,
Yeah.
they had to recast
Yeah.
Johnny Depp's character, so it had some bad faith from an element of the audience that was involved with that decision. And also, I mean, I just never ever got the sense from the first 2 films, which I think are the only 2 I've seen, that this is a story that's really going anywhere, or that I especially need to know and understand. It just seemed like one of those occasions where you've got this incredibly successful series, it's finished. How do we possibly milk it? Well, let's go back and find the most minor ancillary, not even an ancillary character. Newt Scamander is just mentioned in the
Yes.
books as being a guy who wrote some books that were referenced in the books. I never read those books and thought, you know what I really want to learn more about? No, it's Newt Scamander, definitely.
Right.
But
He
but
is a
I
horrible
I felt that he was the guy who played him was the best thing about it, and I like the idea that he's collecting all these creatures that, and he obviously cares more about the creatures than he cares about humans. But that's what I'm saying. But the whole film was too slow. The idea, the concept is solid, but the way they shot it and the script, it all needed fixing. It all needed to be closer. It all needed to move a lot more faster. Because let's face it, right? You're getting adults watching it, but you're also getting kids watching it, and they're going to be bored out of their head, just like my nieces were bored out of their head when I was watching it. In fact, I was bored out of my head. When I
Bigger
That's
folks.
the really good point as well, which is that the Harry Potter books are so successful because they were one of those really rare instances where it was ostensibly aimed at kids, but parents would have as much to take away from it.
Yeah.
And you have that experience of reading it to your kids or as a kid being read it by your parents. I grew up with Stephen Fry reading it on, Audible, or not Audible, it wasn't
Oh,
around,
yeah,
but
that's right.
on cassette. And that's a really lovely familial experience, but it requires a particular way of writing. You can't bore one half of those people. If parents are bored, the kids can tell. If the kids are bored, the parents will never read it. So, yeah.
Matty, care to read a chat from Marlin
Yeah,
the Unlucky?
Absolutely. So Marlon the Unlucky, don't you dare mansplain to J.K. Rowling. That's very
But
true.
I mean, it's a prime example of the screenplay being at fault here. Because as I said, I can't believe that they couldn't tell that this film was slow. If you have 90% talking and not much action in it, it's going to be slow people are going to get bored. And I was bored out of my head with the second one. First one, I barely made it. I
Yeah.
thought first one was okay. The concept's great, but unfortunately, it was just too slow.
Anyone seen them all apart from Matt Katz?
I have, unfortunately.
I
My nieces and stuff wanted to see.
Branter, how many have you seen?
I literally have seen the very last Harry Potter film, and the only reason I was doing that was because I was trying to get a young lady's knickers off. That was the only reason. Yeah, let's go see this film. I quite like Harry Potter.
Did it work?
The small child upstairs says yes.
I will say, chat. Anybody seen all the Harry Potter films? Catty, you've seen them all, yeah?
Absolutely, I love them.
Ian?
No,
All of
I
them.
saw not all of the Harry Potter ones. I saw the first two. I think the third one, but I couldn't connect to any of the people in Harry Potter. They all seemed very upper class, middle class, and it just I couldn't
Especially
connect with them.
what's her name, the girl.
Yeah.
Lord, did you say you've seen two?
I've seen all the Harry Potter films.
Oh, right,
because I
okay.
sort of grew up with those. I've seen 2 of the Fantastic Beasts ones.
Yeah.
And the genius that J.K. Rowling had was that she created these characters who grew with their audience.
Yeah.
So if you were around Harry's age when the books start, she matures the books in pretty much direct line with how you're maturing as well, and they get progressively darker and more adult. And she did that incredibly well. The films do it as well. I think they're not as engaging, but they are still the kind of thing you would watch with all of your family. I felt they sort of lost their way toward the end. They can't act in the beginning. They also can't act at the end. But they were more interesting at the beginning than they were at the end.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah, but that's another really interesting point. Is like who connects with Harry Potter most, and it is the classic English boarding school story.
Yeah.
But that is quite a middle and upper class.
Is that why you
and
connect heavily with it?
Unironically, it might be because my grandparents were teachers, and my mum is she's fairly sort of middle class in terms of culture as well, and I don't imagine it is as approachable or is as relatable to someone who is lower class, and that's always been the case. I mean, George Orwell wrote an essay way back when talking about why it is that for some reason English fiction for kids always seems to hark back to the English public school. But the way in which that only really serves the the upper echelons of the population and also the middle class as well, but never really for working class kids who tend to prefer something a bit more traditionally action adventure. And Harry Potter is another example of that. Harry Potter is borrowing from a very long established sort of trope in English literature, which is you portray middle class aspirations or upper class aspirations to middle class kids. And it works for that audience, but for people who are not of that audience, is there really anything you can connect with?
Here you go, folks. Hostman at Mr. Brown Lights, that's me. Oh, God, here we go. Ezra Miller was also in Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah, it was terrible.
As Dumbledore's little brother.
The only thing in that's connected with working class kids was Grange Hill. Do you know what I mean? Grange Hill was the only thing that connected working class kids.
Yeah.
And even that sort of, you can see there's a vague similarity in the sense that it is still portraying school culture. So it is still, you have the teacher as the authority figure, and you have regimented society and all the rest of it. But yeah, you're right. I mean, that is much more clearly aimed at working class kids, whereas Harry Potter is, it's a bit too prim and proper and prancy.
I didn't mind that, but I just thought that the kids were very distant. They weren't like, for instance, I think she deliberately not have them connected to anything that was connected with today, like Nike shoes or or anything connected. And that's fine in itself, but it still kept the distance between me as a person and the Harry Potter character, and also the acting wasn't very good. So it's like,
Here you go, folks. Romeo Tango November Zulu for 10 New Zealand dollars. Hail Brown, esteemed guests, and awesome chat. Sorry I can't join today, as I've already committed to being on a stream with Dark Hour, but I will be tuning into the replay for sure. See you all soon.
You just started streaming, he's already telling us to fuck off.
Exactly.
Is this, as I've said, Warner Brothers Discovery, David Zavloff, is this desperation to make money?
Of course it is. Making films is about making money.
It's also
Yeah, but
from bounding
yes.
into comics, and it says rumor, and that usually
Yeah.
means they've just been watching Doomcog. So it won't.
Yeah, but it's the internet, so it's true, isn't it?
Well,
Somebody
there
told
was,
me that he was really good as weird young Alkovich, where his name is. He plays
Weird
him.
Al
doesn't he?
Yankovic.
oh, right
Yeah,
on.
he plays him.
Yeah.
Apparently, in a
Yeah,
movie.
I don't know what streaming. Yeah, he does. It looks fun, but I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah,
You should
the
let,
Weird
uh,
Al
sh-
did look good, yeah.
You should let Ryan Johnson write this, and you could have Harry dying on a rock
No.
somewhere.
Yeah,
It's time
I
for the
I think
wizards to
that
die.
yeah, right.
Here you go. Harry Coffers and the Pot of Gold.
No, I can see why kids are attracted
Pink
to
gold,
it.
probably.
I can see why kids are attracted to it, and obviously kids grew up with the books, reading the books. The books were far more famous, was famous before the film had been made. But as I said, for me as a filmmaker, when I went to watch it, I couldn't connect to them at all.
Is this their prequels? Like the Star Wars thing?
I hope not.
Okay.
I think that the Harry Potter movies were more successful because they had the books to fall back on. The Fantastic Beasts did not have that. But I think rebooting it is probably the best idea. And I disagree with Ian. I think there's never a too soon time to do it, because if people are a huge Harry Potter fan like myself, I'm a huge Potterhead. I will go and see any of them. I don't care what it is. Yeah, I totally 100%.
Here you go.
I will.
Atom Gray, did you put your pronoun into the Goblets of Fire?
You see, Matt, that's one I'm afraid of. If they rebooted it, Matt,
pronouns,
and they'll put all this
Harry
crap
pronouns.
into it. That's the reason why I don't think they should do it. Because let's face it, right? Harry Potter means a lot to a lot of people around the world.
Pronouns.
And we do not want it to be fucked with, right? We want the memory to stay. Anyway, sorry.
I think that I don't think it'll get too preachy, because I don't think that Harry Potter got too preachy in the way that the woke times are now. I mean, Fantastic Beasts kind of went there a little bit, but I think that Fantastic Beasts. Time. I think that J.K. Rowling was just trying to do so much in a movie, and she just doesn't. I think that when you write a movie script and you write a novel, they're two totally different mindsets, and I don't think that J.K. Rowling has that same skill to do both. I think that when it comes to writing a movie script, there are certain things that you have to hit in each act, and I don't think she understands that, and that's why they need to bring on a second writer for that third movie.
Writer.
Yeah. But I think that she would also benefit. Sorry, give me this last 10 seconds.
No.
I think that she would heavily benefit from a script doctor, somebody to come in and just fix all of her stuff and just be like, listen, this is great, but you need to do this, this, and this, and then so we're just going to cut out like 20 minutes.
Just get rid of the pronouns, love.
Yeah. Right.
Well, that would be the big issue with a remake. There are actually very few franchises at the moment that are more politicized than Harry Potter is. Because J.K. Rowling is the focus of everything that's currently going on in the trans debate and all the rest of that.
It is,
and it absolutely has impacted her art. So there's a new Harry Potter game coming out next year in, I think, February or March, Legacy of Hogwarts. It looks amazing. I think it looks really good. And I'm actually kind of interested in playing it, but I'm partly interested in playing it because almost without fail, every major games publication has said something to the effect of, is it problematic to support this game? And GameSpot actually published something like a 3,000-word essay from one of its contributors saying it had nothing to do with the game, but it was all about how if you support the game by buying it, then you are supporting J.K. Rowling's campaign of hatred against trans people, which is, of course, complete horseshit because she doesn't hate trans people and has never said anything that's actually derogatory. But, the problem with a remake is that, and you see this as well with the original cast, Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, and the ginger guy, Rupert Grint, saying to the effect of, it's a shame she said what she said and we wouldn't have starred in the films had we known that that's what she thought back when we starred in the films.
Well, even Radcliffe
ingratitude is the word.
Radcliffe even sold her out, so yeah.
Yes,
so
all of the bad ones did. The only interesting
grateful.
people, like who played
only
Lucius
Ralph
Malfoy,
Fiennes stuck up for her.
No, and Jason Isaacs,
Robbie Coltrane as well, yeah.
And Robbie Coltrane, yeah, who's now dead. Jason Isaacs did.
So
Jason
basically,
Isaacs
the adults, the proper adults, stuck up for her.
Yeah, and the sensible adults just haven't said anything. But all of the kids have gone in for it. So if you were to reboot Harry Potter, I really don't see that this would be, you can't avoid it. Either they would have to make a conscious decision to say, we are not taking part in this campaign, this smear campaign, this witch hunting campaign, ironically, against J.K. Rowling, or we're going to go in for it fully. And given the state of modern media, I would expect them to go in for it as opposed to avoid it.
Not a branch
I don't-
clause.
Oh, don't do it. Oh, there you go.
Okay, I won't.
One at a time, guys. One at a time.
Sorry.
Matt's gone.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I don't think that they're gonna go fully in on attacking J.K. Rowling. She has like the best contract when it comes to these movies. She has a final say on everything. And if they like, for instance, she when Johnny Depp was getting bombasted by abuse allegations at the very beginning of his whole Amber Heard situation, I was like, no, I'm casting him, and if you don't like it, get out of my face, kind of thing. But she has final say on everything. She if she doesn't like an actor, she can get rid of them. At the very beginning stages of this, they wanted to do this movie in America and make it like, I think it was 2016 or something like that. But they wanted to make it very, now times, and she's like, no,
Spielberg.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, with Spielberg, they wanted Spielberg to direct, and they wanted the kid from Home Alone to play Harry Potter, but she vetoed it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she has like one of the best contracts that you like are never even heard of anymore in Hollywood. Like, she has final say on everything.
In the chat, Fats Gandalf at Mr. Brown Alliance, that's me. Tell the little platoon, in brackets, the Lord, close brackets, I pre-ordered just to support her war.
It's the war for the wizarding world. No, I'm going to buy it, and I think it does look like it could be really interesting. It's been delayed a lot. This is the thing. The stuff that outlets like GameSpot should be talking about is, well, it's been delayed 3 or 4 times. Why is that? What are the production problems? What's the game-related news we can report here? It's not how can we possibly give one of our low-level writers 3,000 to 4,000 words to talk about the trans politics of Harry Potter? That's not what people read GameSpot for. It's a really good example of the way in which it's impossible these days to talk about anything like art for art's sake. We're not talking about, is this going to be a good game? We're talking about, are we allowed to support the game politically because buying the game is a political act? That's depressing, because you should be... I could be on the other side of this. I could say I could really disagree with everything J.K. Rowling stands for politically. I could disagree with her on the trans thing, but I should still be able to say, I love the world she built, and I want to play the game built based in that world. That should be perfectly fine. But now you can't do that, and that's irritating, to say the least.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. I literally was told by a family member that every time I buy something Harry Potter that's like official and everything, that I am supporting everything that J.K. Rowling stands for. And I'm all like, first off, I don't think she said anything wrong when it comes to the trans movement, but before that, she was a total lefty. That's what people totally forget about that. She was completely liberal in her ideas, and she says one thing against the norm of the liberals and everything, and they just pounce. It's like crazy. They eat their own like nobody's business. And
What does Probby say? Cultural Marxism.
By the way, Matt, there's a Harry Potter store down the West End in London, and it's freaking huge. So next time I'm down there, I'll take some pictures and send it to you, because you'd be in heaven. You'd be in heaven.
Oh my God!
Not buying anything though.
No.
I'm still waiting for my Christmas present from you. Anyway, okay.
My sister went to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter in Florida and everything, and I've never been because I gotta wait for my kids to get a little bit older. But she sent me a picture of everything, and I was like, "Oh, you bitch, you're just rubbing it in now."
Here you go, Hostman at Mr. Brownlights. Again, that is me. I don't like J.K. Rowling's radical feminism, but I will still play the game.
That's
absolutely
exactly
that's the whole point of it.
Right?
That's the point. Yes.
Yeah. Back in the day, before the whole trans thing kicked off, the only thing, because J.K. Rowling kept a very low public profile at the time as well, but the only thing there were 2 things people knew about her. One was that she was very much against Scottish independence, and the other one was, and the main important one, was that she was very much a feminist. But you will still get people on the political right, or political conservatives, or non-feminists who will love what she's created, read what she's written, play the games based on all of that, without taking an issue with her politics. But there is one side of the debate that won't do that. You have to be pure and perfect, and if you're not in any respect, then everything associated with you is damned by that association, and that's cancer
good
to
way.
art. That's not how you get artistic production. It's the enemy of it.
Anyway,
Yeah.
okay, so on 1 hour, we'll move on. Anybody see this? I chuckled
did
at
see this. Yeah, that's insane.
I could do this job, and I will charge them $400.
Right? Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's so ridiculous. Is this a
isn't it?
thing though? For real, people are scared of talking to people on the phone.
I can imagine that sounds so ridiculous that it's true. Obviously, it's on the internet, so
I
it's true.
don't like talking to people on the phone. If I can possibly avoid it, I will do it by
Really?
text or email. Yeah.
Really?
I yeah.
have. Oh, maybe
I'm the
maybe it's a
opposite.
I know.
generational thing. I have
Matt
no
Cat
problem.
likes talking, don't you?
I do. I do.
I'm completely the opposite. I prefer to talk to someone on the phone rather than just trying to find an L in my fucking text and
Yeah,
shit.
it's easy to ring somebody. Blah, blah, blah. That's it. There you go. Time
it's
profit. Time profit. Mr. Brown answers me. I'm afraid to talk on the phone.
Really? Oh. I'm not judging.
is,
I'm not
though-
judging.
No, I think you should, because
Shit.
I prefer talking via text, email, whatever, but I wish that I didn't, because I know why I do, and the reasons why I do are not very good, in the sense it's very much of, I don't want to have to make an effort to sound enthusiastic, and if I don't have to talk to them on the phone, I don't have to do that. I can reply when I want to, which again, that's laziness and it's antisocial. So I don't. Yeah, my reasons are really just avoidance, and that's not a good reason. but that
Happy on
is the
almost 500 a hour. Where do I apply? Yeah, I want it. I need to
right.
apply
When
for
it-
that.
when it-
That sounds like a dream job.
When it comes to business, yeah, sure, I'd text. But when it comes to people I really want to talk to, who keeps texting me and I keep saying, "Ring me, this is a phone," then yeah, I get a bit upset that they don't ring me, and I just refuse to text them, and then they have to ring me.
Here you go,
you know?
Frankie Zen. Pack up Gen Z. It's over. It is.
Yeah,
It's such a shame that
plus
this
having-
generation will never know the absolute joy of phoning into going live to tell them that 5-star are shite to their very faces.
I will say, if you text people, everything is data recorded.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Big Brother.
I remember
haven't you
going
ever-
across the road to the red phone box and putting 10 pence in after speaking till the pips come on. Do you know what I mean? You just have to speak really fast, get your point across. Do you know what I mean? It's just, look, a phone is a phone. It's not a writing implement. It's a phone. Why don't you just call them and talk to them? It's ridiculous.
Steve
Absolutely
Jobs
ridiculous.
has got a lot to answer for. Anyway, okay.
well,
So
anyway, well-
Yeah,
I need
I will
to
make
know
this
where
an
to apply for that.
exception for people who you already know and who already know you, like your
exactly.
good friends, family. I think that's different. There are still times my mum will call and I'll think, oh, for fuck's sake, but I'll still pick the phone up.
Oh, it's your mum.
It's mostly for people I don't know that well, or for just
Yeah, I
people like
understand. Yeah.
certainly now, because if now there are so many phone scams where if you so much
Yeah.
as answer the phone, then your number is
There
logged,
is that,
and
there is that.
you get more and more. So, but yeah,
I love
otherwise,
fucking
it's
with those
avoidance.
people. Oh. you ever answer the phone and just sit there and talk to them about your everyday life, and they'll just be like, "Yes, but I'm
Poor
trying
bastards.
to tell you about insurance company," and you're all like, "Okay, anyway, so listen, I was trying to make this quiche, and it got all fucking." I love that stuff. I love messing with them. It's super fun.
Did you
did that.
see? There's a hacker on TikTok, and he scam people, ring him up, and he's so good that he can find out the names of the people that are actually calling him.
No, I haven't seen.
You ever
it.
seen
I've
that?
seen that. It's on
Absolutely fantastic. Yeah.
YouTube as well. He's so
Yeah.
good.
All
I'll have to look it
Here you
up
go.
now.
Harriet Potter and the phone of fear. We'll trademark that.
That's good.
Okay.
Actually, well after everyone's forgotten the story of Harry Potter or the films, there will still be the meme template, which is just Harry Potter and the whatever the hell you want. It's a really,
Right.
really good way of doing this.
The easy
As-
punchline.
Even though I don't ring many people anyway, I think it is good to talk. But
Yeah, so do
saying-
I.
yeah.
Yeah.
Think
It
it's
might
good.
it may come full circle where people realise that it's probably better to talk to people. If anything, it's a lot easier. But anyway,
It's better meeting them.
I am also aware of the irony, by the way, of saying, I really hate talking to people I've never met whilst I'm on a live stream doing exactly that.
Yeah, but you're the Lord.
What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
but also,
We're
I like
besties.
you guys. Yes,
Oh,
exactly.
thanks, Lord. I'm
That's the
feeling
difference.
fluffy now. Yeah, cheers. That's you heard it first, folks. The Lord likes us.
You know, I was,
Yay!
I was
The
working
Lord.
I was working at the FT, and my answer phone was, if I don't recognize your number, I'm not
Fuck it,
picking
yeah.
up the phone.
Yeah,
And that was a
yeah,
really
Right.
convenient way of just never picking up the phone. So I was on many more streams with you guys than I ever spoke to people that I had to work for. So that's something.
But normally it's someone that you know and the name comes up and it's a text. And you're like, well, fucking hell, why don't you just ring me? I don't want to spend hours
There
trying
is
to,
that, yeah.
you know, it's ridiculous. You write, you know, and then the text is corrected and then the message goes off really stupid. You know what I mean? I might as well just pick up the phone and talk to me. You
Okay.
know, it's ridiculous.
Anyway, I'm going to investigate how we get a job like that. I could be quite good at that. Anyway, moving on.
Do it.
This was on literally, well, an hour and a bit before we came on. We briefly mentioned this on, was it Christmas Day?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Robert Meyer Burnett, the Viceroy of Tude. He's trying to sell us Star Trek
Yeah.
Picard season 3. He's doing his best.
It's because he's friends with the guy that's making it, so of course he's going to be trying to sell it. I mean, this is ridiculous. I'm not going to be watching that
Yeah.
shit.
I mean,
Why
I'm
would
gonna
I?
watch it, but I'm gonna watch it because I cover it on my channel. But I don't understand why he's simping for this season so hard. It's crazy to me.
He's
Like,
got a
He wants
proper
a job.
boner. He's got a proper boner for it.
He
hasn't
wants a job. He wants a job directing one of them.
That-
So that's the
well,
same
I
thing
say
with
give him the
Kevin
job
Smith.
then. I mean, but I just go like he's trying to sell us this bag of goods that I'm just like, I don't understand why you're doing this. Like,
The same thing that Kevin Smith did when he was talking about Supergirl and the CW stuff. He was saying things
right
that I
on.
was like, what the fuck are you saying? Because that's just so wrong. And then suddenly he gets the job directing Supergirl, and the rest is
Funny that.
history. Maybe it's the same thing with Robert. I don't know.
well, if
I
he
mean,
gets it,
there
good
is,
for him. But
There is the other interpretation, right, which is that he probably, I think he did. I don't know Robert Meyer
call him
Burnett
Pappy,
very well.
Pappy,
That's all.
Pappy.
Fine.
He's Pappy.
Pappy. I don't know Pappy at all. So I don't know what his history with Star Trek is, or if he liked the first 2 seasons of Picard. If he didn't like those but likes this one, there can genuinely be, like, if he's involved in the creation of it, he knows the guy who's making it, they've had the conversations, and he likes this upcoming season precisely because it's the opposite of the last 2 seasons everybody hated, it can be a genuine thing. So, I can do my autofellatio moment and say I'm involved with Judas, the video game, right? The same
Nice
thing
plug,
happens.
yes.
So when I plugged it the first time, and Brown, you said, well, there's a woman as the main character, therefore it's woke and I hate it. And I felt that same sense. Well, hang on a minute. No, I mean, you haven't seen it yet, obviously, but I'm involved
I didn't
with
say
it.
I hated
know,
it. I just thought
well,
because
yeah,
of
but-
everything that's gone before. I totally agree with you. By the way,
I know, no,
with
but
this.
I can see.
Totally.
I can also see why that's the
Yeah.
case. But if he's involved with the writing projects here, or he knows intimately, well, intimately might be the misleading word. If he's closely involved with the person writing it, then he knows what's being covered and the theme and the overall tone of the thing. So he'll be very keen to champion it precisely because it is what he wants to see
Okay.
from Star Trek.
Can
Our
I-
problem as the audience is that how do you separate
Can I
that
throw
from the
this
first
back
2
at you,
seasons
then?
of Picard, which were complete garbage? And can you separate those in your minds as the audience? It's one thing to be a writer. It's another thing to be part of the audience of this is supposedly
Okay.
continuing story.
Okay, I'm gonna throw that back at you and say, up until press, 4 seasons of Discovery and 2 seasons of Picard, and I included anti-derivative Jill's comment as well because she, friend of the channel, such a lovely, well-spoken woman who. Gentle nature, yes. Even she's saying, Robert, nah, you can't have Secret Hideout taking the piss for effectively 6 seasons and expect us to lap this up. Yeah. So it's totally right. Anti-derivative Jill, spot on.
I love you, Data. Yeah.
Yeah, if you go to a restaurant and you get 2 shit meals, chances are you ain't gonna turn up to the third one no matter how good people tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
That's-
got a new-
again,
new
that-
sh-
that's
there's
the
a new
difference
chef,
between-
folks.
That's the difference between being involved with something as a writer and being involved as the audience. And the audience is the one with the better attachment to it, really, because the audience has followed it from the beginning. But if there's a shit restaurant and everyone knows the shit restaurant and everyone who's gone there has had 2 or 3 shit meals and the restaurant is sold and there's new owners and there's new chefs and there's new waiters.
Yeah, but it's still
and
the
they're
same.
all very,
No,
very deeply committed.
I know,
And-
but it's the same company, same. It's only the guy who's the producers, the owners, who's it, Secret Hideout, whoever just said to Matalis, just you got free reign, just do what you want. That
True,
was the
but
one and only time.
My problem with that is I genuinely don't think that that's a sustainable or even a sensible way of consuming art. So like Picard season 2 pretended Picard season 1 didn't exist. There's very little to actually follow through in Picard. from
Started
seasons
well
1 to
as
2.
well, didn't it?
Well, exactly, right?
I thought episode 1, okay.
Okay. If the same company with the same writers have created 2 shows or 2 seasons of the same show which are functionally independent of each other, what happens if you had all of your favorite writers, people you knew for a fact really loved the franchise, with the exact same free reign to create a season that's entirely different and independent of everything that came before it? You would then be in the position, in the restaurant analogy, of saying, I will turn down a Michelin-style meal because I don't like the meal I was given under previous ownership by previous staff. And I don't think that that's necessarily the right thing to do. Because then what indication are you sending to the parent company? You're telling them that, the company will be reading the fans. They will see the ratings. The company will say, we tried this with these writers and it was shit. We tried this with these writers and it was shit for the same reasons. So we're learning from our audience. Everyone seems to hate the miserablest, almost Ryan Johnson style version of Picard. Let's give the fans in season 3, the final season, the Picard they know and love.
But why
Let's
didn't they
make
give
it
it?
independent
Why
as a
didn't they
story.
give us it in
Well,
season 1?
But I know that's a criticism of the company, but it's not a criticism of the people writing season 3. And you will be denying yourself a season 3. Let's say season 3 turned out to be as good as the next generation.
Oh yeah, I'll be
at
watching
its
it. Don't worry.
best.
Yeah.
Oh, so you will be watching it.
This is the sad thing. Everybody, because it's got the old crew in. Trust me, everybody will be watching it, and they know it.
I won't.
Well, it's all about perception, and you can shove as many Chef Ramsays into this metaphoric restaurant all you want. But if people are so disgusted with their experience, they probably won't give it a chance, and that's probably a shame.
Tim, I like saying this, Hannah Bomb. Picard is an android now.
I'm sorry. I have to agree with
in
Brian.
peace.
Listen, I had 2 shit meals. I'm not going back to that restaurant ever. So they can check out their arse.
And I'm not disagreeing. I'm interested in that perspective and what you hope is the outcome of that, because you cannot change who owns
late,
a
Lord.
property. Well,
Here's-
let me finish. I know I go on for a while, but let's try. Let's say you can't change.
Very
You
trying.
cannot change the person who owns the property. That will not happen. You can't change that. They own the property, whatever you want. So what's the best you can hope for? Is it that the person who owns the property gives you, because they're in hock to their quote-unquote, woke propagandists, 2 seasons of shit, and everyone appreciates that as being shit, no one watches it, the ratings are terrible. The person who owns the property wants a successful property, whatever the ideology is, and they've seen that one ideology doesn't work. Let's say that they then experiment. They go on, they give it to someone with the opposite, someone who actually cares about the franchise and cares about the story and cares about the characters. What are you achieving by not watching that? Are you not simply telling them that nothing they do will work. So
No,
why don't
you're
they do
telling-
what comics do? Comics have had the same problem.
Possibly, but it kind of comes down to trust in a way. Do you trust that
Exactly.
these people are going to be given free reign, or is it going to be more of the
And
same?
also,
with the same overlords?
remember, they're all so fucking old. I mean, what's his name? Picard, the guy who plays Picard. He's going to drop
Oh, yeah.
sooner or later. and how are we going to take this? I mean, I don't care how good
I
the
love
story
you,
is. If the guy
Gator.
can't, I love you, Dana. I can't. If he can't make it to his chair and say, engaged, then we're all in trouble, aren't we? It's just, honestly,
No,
I
I
don't
agree with
trust
that.
these people. I don't give a shit because
That's fine.
They gave a shit,
1 hour
shit
50.
meal.
I completely
Shit
agree. I
me on
completely
it.
agree with
Move
that as a
on.
criticism of the art form itself, in that Patrick Stewart is just too old to do this now, and it should never have been greenlit. It was only greenlit because he
10
was
years too
given
late.
license to give us his own political opinions. That's
Yeah.
part of the integral
Never forgive
reason
him
why
for that.
seasons 1 and 2 were so shit. But you might not trust the company in charge with having the best motives in mind, but surely what you would
No.
trust of them is their own worst intentions, which is profit grabbing and rent seeking.
Lord.
If it's been proven to them that doing woke stuff loses them money, they don't have to have the best intentions to say that giving Star Trek fans what they want might earn them more money. Nevertheless, we will still get what we want.
Lord,
is my argument.
if I may,
Yes.
what is the thank you? What is the shittest meal that you've ever eaten that you can remember?
The Picard sandwich.
Bedford, my nearest town, opened the country's first £1 kebab store.
Oh, get in! That sounds luxury.
And,
Luxury.
it was
luxury.
closed down after 3 months for health violations. So I think I had one kebab from there. And I hate kebabs anyway, but that was probably it.
So, what you're saying is you had one meal from there.
Yes.
I rest my case.
I don't know. I think that's a false
Was it a good
analogy.
kebab?
For a
No,
quid, yes.
it was just a boring average, but I was very drunk. It was only £1. So by that standard,
Very.
it was.
Isn't that when you only eat kebabs when you're drunk? I love how you guys call them kebabs.
Yeah, and I hate them.
You're
It
very
boils-
loud,
when I'm
Matt.
drunk as well.
It boils down to they're gonna if this is a bait and switch. They're going to give us. They're saying they're going to give us what we want, and then when we're like episode 3, suddenly Picard's kissing
Bang,
number
bang,
1
bang.
or something like that. Do you know what I mean? So I don't trust any of it. Why would I come back?
That's
Why
fine.
would
No,
I
no.
come back?
You would have to judge it in a because again, as Brown himself said, the first episode or 2 episodes
that's
of
Mr.
season
Brown, by the way.
2, Mr. Brown, sorry,
Yeah, thank you.
Sir Brown, as the first
just
2
Mr.
episodes,
It's
the
Mr.
first
at the
2
moment.
episodes of season 2 were kind of entertaining and they weren't shit.
No, they weren't.
That
They were
was
shit.
Yes, and
No, season 2, Picard, episode 1. I thought, oh, okay, they're actually trying. I may forgive them. See episode 2. Okay, and then it just fucking went off the rails. I
I
thought,
think
fuck
the,
off.
the first episode was at least interesting, and
It was. It just felt like
wasn't-
Trek.
it
Felt like
wasn't
Trek.
bad
Yeah,
for the same
felt like
reasons as
Trek.
the previous season had been.
yes, and
Sorry,
in Lord's defense, the guy that's writing this 3rd season did write the first 2 episodes of season 2 of Picard. which are
Oh,
not too
okay.
bad.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who
Okay.
cares? The
Okay.
reason why I didn't
okay.
watch season 2 is because season 1 was shit, and I'm not gonna go from season
That's-
1 to the
I'm-
3rd one, am I? You know what I mean?
I
Just-
totally
what's the point?
get where you're coming from, but Lord Cord is right. Like this could be a good season, and Robert
Don't
Meyer
care.
Burnett has
Don't care.
seen these episodes, and it could.
Don't care. It's too late.
Listen, you both.
There you go,
Great
folks.
Excellent.
The Mega
points.
Geek
I'm
has
just
spoken.
saying.
The Mega
I'm
Geek,
just saying.
the
It could be
wise
good.
elder of the
Also,
channel, has
Bioshock
spoken,
was good,
folks.
so.
It's too late, and also he is too old. This is pointless exercise. I don't, I'm gonna sit there and watch him go. I love you, and let's kiss and all that rubbish. I'm not gonna be sitting there watching
Engage.
that crap. Come on.
I, know,
Well, it
I
doesn't matter.
agree
This
with
is the
that,
last
but I think
season.
that criticism is a criticism that you could have made. Let's say
There you
that
go.
the last
There you
season
go.
of The Next Generation had been made now with him at this age. You could still apply that same criticism, and I would agree with that. I think he is too old to be playing this role. That's almost a completely separate line of criticism, though. The one that I'm interested in your guys' opinions of is how you see it ending. So with comic books, for example, you've got to the state where they've been turned over to the worst type of person, and they are all,
Right.
almost without exception these days, pushing the most overt woke agenda.
Right.
As a result, people have said, well, okay, I'm not going to read that anymore. I'm done with that.
Right.
Because no one's reading or watching it anymore, though, there's no real loss to the overarching company. They can actually use it to experiment even more with the worst tendencies of the quote-unquote woke progressives. If, though, you're still invested as a company in the financial success of a product, there might still be a role for the audience in turning up for something which is the opposite in tone and message of the bad stuff. That will teach the overarching company, whatever its own personal political motives, if you want to make money, you have to give us this. And if they give us this and we just don't turn up, well, what's to stop Star Trek going the same way as the comics and actually getting worse rather than better?
It needs to stop. That's what it needs to do. It needs
Or
to
they
stop.
could just
And
stop,
they need
yeah.
to make they need to make another Star Trek with new characters in it and take all the woke shit out of it. That's what they need to do.
Yeah.
Going back to the well
It's not
and
rocket
just,
science.
yeah, and just getting all these people out with wheelchairs and Zimmer frames is a big waste of my time and everybody else's time. Should be spending money on creating something new and getting rid of all the woke people that's involved in Star Trek. That's what it
I've
should
always said if Robert Meyer Burnett would be a great showrunner for Star Trek if he was given free reign to make Star Trek how it should be made.
But
I
I
agree.
think I agree with everything that the Meggie just said. My question really is designed because I'm trying not to fall down on one side of this, but the reason I'm throwing this out is that the last bit in particular, get rid of all the woke people who are doing it. My question is really trying to get out of you. How do you think we will get rid of them in the end? Is it to not turn up to watch their opponents? Or is it to turn up to watch their opponents and prove to the studio that their opponents are the right people to be heading the franchise?
What's the studio owns Star Trek again? Is it Paramount?
I think it's Paramount.
Yeah, Paramount.
Yeah, so Paramount, right? Whoever's in charge, who is the man right at the top, should come down his stairs, go to the office, take a big sledgehammer and kill everybody in the office that's connected to Star Trek.
I thought it
and
was a
then
woman.
Metaphorically kill.
Exactly. Bury the bodies.
Is it not a woman who's...
and then bring in new people. That's
is it not a woman who's in charge of
Who
Paramount?
cares? Who cares?
Yeah, there
I
is.
hear,
I think,
I hear what the Lord is
So
saying.
there you go.
Really
Thank you,
hear what the
Frankie.
Lord is saying.
Frankie's
But-
in. I think it's... Yes, so do I.
But I am not going to be watching it. You know, Godspeed and all that. Good luck if you're going to watch it. But I have just had enough.
Engage.
I've
Yeah,
had
the,
enough.
the
I
other,
think we-
on the other hand, sorry, Brad, just I'll try and keep this one very quick, which is that you could actually still be right in the sense that maybe the best way to make the people at the head of the studio realize their mistake is to actually let the franchise die. And
Yeah, but the thing is that
we
but
like
the thing-
Star Trek. I love Star
Yeah,
Trek.
but-
we do, but that's the reason. That will be a shock, right? If something so successful and
But
well
no-
recognized as Star Trek dies because of the agenda and no
It
one
is-
will come back
it
to
is
it,
Ben,
dead
that
anyway.
might
It's dead.
end.
And
Well,
everybody
by the way.
knows, everyone knows what the right thing to do is. But these people will not do it because
Yeah.
they're on a mission with their religion to try and educate the world. And that is the problem. Once you get rid of that, hopefully things will go back to the way it should be. Once you get that's the core problem, right? It's got nothing to do with anybody else. That is the core problem. And hey, look, the logical thing to do is create something new, create a new enterprise with a new cast and crew, cast really well, and not have any of the preaching stuff in it, and just concentrate on real adventures. It's not rocket science. Come on.
They kind of
know?
did that with Strange New Worlds, though, didn't they? Although
No,
did
they
keep some of
didn't.
the canon stuck to it, didn't as well.
No, they
Still
didn't.
had occasional mention of Burnham.
It's still connected to Burnham. Therefore, it's
Yeah,
still
we got
poison.
slapped over. Yeah, we got slapped. Strange New Worlds was surprisingly,
Decent.
and yeah, surprisingly entertaining. But
Yes.
we got slapped over the
And that's
noggin
exactly
with
what's going to happen
Burnham.
with this Star Trek.
And it's
with
like,
this Star Trek. That's
fuck
exactly
off.
what's going to happen.
Fuck
They're going
off.
to they're going to
Fuck off.
start off. They're going to start off with Picard, and everybody's going to be, this is great, and then they're going to slap you in the face with some kind of
Bish,
kissing,
bash, bosh.
2 men kissing or whatever. Some what rub? They're going to slap you. I know it's coming. Everybody knows it's coming. Good luck, because I won't be watching it. I will not be watching it. I know what's coming.
Smack you in the face with a massive woke lady cock.
Okay. This was going to be like a little brief, short fun stream.
But it was
It
fun.
is fun. That's what
It
I
was
was
fun.
This is deep, folks. This is deep. Okay, shall we move on?
That's what she said.
Next year, apparently, there's going to be a divorce tsunami in the UK.
Why?
It's all down to do with no-fault divorce, meaning effectively you can get a quickie divorce. And apparently, Christmas is a bad time for
For
divorces.
Silly season.
Yeah, the silly
right.
season.
Interesting.
That's
So-
sad. That's so sad.
Who said marriage is dead, folks?
Marriage isn't
it's
dead.
not.
It's not dead. Seriously, I know hundreds of people that are married and happy. Seriously,
Yeah, I'm one of them. I'm totally happy.
as I'm saying, you just
I don't-
don't get those news in the news. You just get rubbish. in the
Yeah.
news.
And just because it's cheap to get a divorce doesn't mean you need to get one. I mean,
Yeah, I agree with that.
I don't understand that. I don't understand that concept of, you know, we've had a bad go at it for a couple months. Let's get a divorce. That's weird.
Yeah.
You know,
I think
does
part
it
of the problem is
negate the
that
last?
It's
Go
so
ahead.
much easier to get into it. It's so much easier to leave it. And
Yes, agreed.
if you are in the position where you are happily married, then it's not anything like at the forefront of your mind. But for a large number of people, there's not the same attachment. And if you make it easier, I mean, we've had a huge explosion in divorce. I mean, the marriage success rate is down exponentially since the divorce laws were legalized, I think, in the late 80s. And that's because for a large number of people, marriage is not a happy thing. Marriage is a good thing in other ways. Marriage is something that allows you to bring up kids, but it's also something that allows you to live on two incomes as opposed to one. There is a huge financial factor in that.
Yep.
It did used to be the case that you simply couldn't afford to get divorced. I know some of my friends whose parents stayed together because they couldn't afford not to. But actually, marriage is a happy love-making thing. It's for very lucky people, but relatively few people. We don't tend to do that anymore. Now we are in a world where you're encouraged as an individual, man or woman, to earn your own way and your own life and not to be reliant upon anyone else. We are encouraging more women into the workplace in particular, and like it or not, it does tend to be women who would stay at home doing the child rearing in a marriage situation. And so you've seen a collapse in the marriage rate and a huge boom in the divorce rate because that's sort of what the culture's been told is a good thing. The thing that annoys me is that everyone in my generation who now complains that they can't afford to buy a house is complaining because
Get married.
they're all professional single people.
Yeah, get married.
Yeah, married people.
Commit to
Yeah,
somebody.
up until the 1980s, if you were a married man, you would earn more on your own than a working man and a working woman individually because of the productivity gains of having your house taken care of. After the 1980s, 90s, you would still be in the best position if you've got two incomes in your household because that's two incomes to support your rent or support your mortgage or whatever. But we are now in the position where you have to say, well, we discourage relationship forming and we discourage marriage as an institution, really, by making it so easy not to do. And then you get people complaining that they can't afford a house anymore. I said, well, that's part of the reason why, is that you want a house for yourself, whereas once upon a time you would have wanted your house for your family.
Also, the fact
Deep.
that majority of people who get
Hold on,
divorced
Lord.
or are in trouble is that they don't realize that you have to work at relationship. Nothing is perfect. You know what I mean?
Right.
One little argument
Right.
and they want a divorce. You know, a lot of the old generation realized that. That they weren't going to click right away. They did. They loved each other, but they realized it wouldn't click. And so they basically endured it. Do you know what I mean? Endured it so they can get to the good place. But a lot of
Yes.
people today,
Right.
they don't do that because the first sign of argument, they want a divorce.
My grandparents,
Right.
in next year, 2023, is my grandparents' 50th wedding anniversary. And
Congratulations.
they've had a really, really tough time. So they've got 4 kids. My 2 uncles, one of them is very severely handicapped. One of them is reasonably severely handicapped. Daughter who's moved away. My mum is my mum. And they've not had an easy life at all, but they stuck together. And a large part of that, I think, is faith as well. They are both very strict Catholics, and we've lost that sense of bond as well.
Yeah.
We don't have that religious bond anymore in the same way that we used to. But to say that they only stuck together because it was always easy and they always loved each other and they never fell out and they never hated each other even is just fanciful and overly romantic. But we've lost those incentives to marry, and we've become obsessed with the disincentives.
It was a tax
to marry.
perk at one point, wasn't it?
Well, they keep trying to do that because governments periodically will say we're not having enough kids, and so we'll have a tax break if you're married with 2 or 3 children. And I think that still exists as well.
Yeah, it does.
It's just
Here you go. Z3PO. I've been married for 23 years, yes, to Uncle.
Oh, rub it in.
Time Prophet, 15 years.
Time off for good behaviour, Time Prophet.
It's the world we live in, isn't it? It's crazy. The world we live in. They're teaching people that fathers are crap. You should own your own money, whatever. Men and women they should be equal, which is not really true. Really, men and women can survive without each other, which is kind of bollocks. Really, do you know what I mean? That kind of thing. So they fill in everybody with that, and then when they have one argument, all of that comes into play, and they're like, "I want a divorce," and it's like you haven't even tried yet. You haven't even tried.
Okay.
Yeah. So
there was
anyway,
a study out of the US, I think last week or the week before, on happiness between different social groups. The happiest person in America, on average, is, I think he's 35, married, 1 kid at home, and a wife who works part-time. The least happy person in America is a 41-year-old single woman with no kids, which is exactly
Watching
the
She-Hulk.
social category that you have created over the last few years by choice, by
She-Hulk.
encouraging more women into the workplace as part of it, but also by that particular strain of feminism which says that as a woman you can only be fulfilled if you are your own individual person with no attachments.
I'm an
and
independent
no
woman. I
commitments.
don't need no man's.
You need a soulmate. Soulmate's
She-Hulk
very.
demographic.
Yeah, very much, honestly, unironically as well, the She-Hulk
She-Hulk.
demographic is the least happy demographic in America.
And it shows.
and it
Cunty
shows.
women.
it is true though. Exactly what you're saying is absolutely true. But anyway, whatever.
The great institution of marriage. Let's
I
hope it
believe in
doesn't-
marriage. I just got to find someone that will marry me.
Okay, should we move on?
Move along.
Move along. I put this in for a little bit of fun. Who saw this? Anybody?
No,
I didn't see it. It's good,
I'm
though.
assuming this is in the United States of America. That's a country, isn't it?
Is that Wookiee Fever's
Yes.
garden? It looks
That's
like
the
it.
best
Yeah.
country.
It's not your
That's a good
garden, is it, Matt?
Yeah, that's the best country in the world.
Is that your garden?
This is very good. That is not. I wish I was this creative when it comes to lights for Christmas. This is very good. This is very, very good.
And Biden is for the people
He
at
is-
home. Who's Biden?
He is our president, the 46th president. Yeah. So, but he sucks.
least
so
lucid.
Whatever, it's fine. Yeah, he's a potato at this point.
Well, no, 'cause you can leak vodka out of a potato, and Biden is not that useful.
Right.
Is he not a very good president?
I don't think
I don't
so.
know.
I mean, but some people do. I don't get those people. But what are you gonna do?
Has America ever had a decent president? In the last 40 years, they all seem to be fucking
Had a
duds.
few,
Ronald Reagan.
Yeah, we've
Oh, fuck
Reagan.
off, Jesus
Reagan.
Christ.
Reagan is my favorite president.
Yeah, Reagan
but,
was the
there's-
president.
There's been some good
Ronald
ones.
Reagan took a bullet for you guys, man. He took
Yeah,
a
I love
bullet.
Ronald Reagan.
Nixon,
Yeah.
he was a great president.
I thought Nixon was a good president. He had that one little incident and ruined his whole thing.
Oh, here you go. Here you go. Here you go.
I would unironically go with Reagan. I know all of the good arguments against Reagan. I
Hollywood.
was on the left when I first learned about Reagan. I know all the Iran-Contra stuff. And he did some really bad shit. But most presidents do some really, really bad shit. American presidents are a uniquely bad breed of human being. But of the uniquely bad breed of human being, Ronald Reagan probably did more right than wrong. As much as what he did wrong was very, very wrong.
Yeah.
That's like being the prettiest feminist. I mean, it's 'cause you're
That
Just because you're the
kind of-
prettiest doesn't mean to say you're beautiful. Do you know?
It's the Douglas Adams thing. On no account should anybody capable of getting themselves made president be allowed to do the job. And that's a fairly good rule. For life.
Hostman says, I'm Mr. Alliance asked me, as an American, I would like to disassociate myself from whoever put the hell's light up.
Well, this Father Christmas is leaking less than Joe Biden, so really trying to disassociate from your president.
Okay. We'll move on from Biden.
Oh, the guy.
Anybody see this? Stephen Grafe, is it? Stephen Grafe? He played, I forget the name of this guy in Blake 7. He was a,
Travis.
yeah.
It
Like
did look this
Travis.
show up. I've never seen it before.
Yeah, we're scraping the
pretty
barrel
good.
here.
Oh, I thought it looked like fun.
It's all right. Blake Seven's okay. Not well made though.
So we've reached the bottom of the barrel for celebrities dying in 2022.
Exactly,
Which
the
the
point.
question that follows is, who are we predicting we're going to lose in 2020? Who do we
Who are we
not
hoping?
want to
Well,
lose?
like,
I don't know. I reckon we might lose. Who's that guy who was in? Oh fuck! It's gone out of my head. What's his name? Shawshank Redemption, who played Red.
Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman. I reckon we might lose him this year. Morgan Freeman.
Well, he's not been doing anything for a while.
No, he hasn't, and he's very, very old. So yeah, I think
Anthony
we might.
Hopkins
Lose.
is
Breakout.
going as well.
Yeah,
His
Anthony
breakout-
Hopkins. Yeah.
his breakout movie was a film that Christopher Reeve was in, and the only reason it was made was because Christopher Reeve getting
Yes,
in full
yes.
with this company, and one of the guaranteeing factors was he had to do Superman 4.
Yeah, 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 and it was a flop after he made
Yeah.
that film as well. So.
Here you go, folks. Ravenscroft, 82. I cannot emphasize enough how much I enjoyed Blake 7.
There was some stellar performances of
There
Blake Seven,
was.
a lot of these old school actors, stage actors.
Time Profits, Blake 7 was very well made on a low budget.
But the problem is that the BBC didn't care about Blake Seven, right? The writers cared, everyone cared, the fans cared, and BBC just gave them 2p to make the show. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Glynis Barber was in that as well.
Oh god, she was gorgeous.
Oh,
Wasn't she?
dear.
Was she called Sulin or something like that?
Su Ling, yeah, she was lovely, absolutely lovely.
It was a great program.
It is. Well, yeah, I guess
It was. Shut up. It was. It's just a shame, as you said, made for 10p.
Yeah, it is a real shame actually. It was a good show, but anyway.
I quite like the budget restriction though.
Probably likes it.
So much of the most interesting sci-fi writing comes from people or studios which don't have money to spend on special effects. I mean, compare Star Trek: The Next Generation to Star Trek: Discovery. The Next Generation had a fraction of the budget, and so it had to invest in dialogue, characters, story, whereas Discovery can just go for special effects and make you wow. It's kind of the Avatar effect again. The more money you've got to make it look good, the less money you spend and the less time and attention you pay to story.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. But the problem with the BBC was that after the first 2 seasons, the ratings had gone up, and still the BBC didn't give a shit. I think they gave them 2p for the first season,
20p.
They gave them 20p for the last season. It was absolutely ridiculous, even though the fan base was growing.
Blake
BBC
7
didn't
was
give a
fantastic.
shit.
Blake
They
7
didn't give a
was
shit.
really good.
Yeah. Anyway.
We also recommended the other week Star Cops, if you remember, the
I
same
remember
writer.
that, Joe.
I forget the name of the guy who died, the writer, but he wrote
Yeah.
Blake 7 and Star Cops. And Star Cops is on YouTube, and
It used to be on BBC Two, didn't it?
yeah,
Star Cops.
BBC sci-fi made for fuck all, but great stories, well written. So, okay, so let's see what's next.
I've just realised, and I'm very curious as to learn why your profile picture is a black Santa.
So I
Where
don't
did
know.
this come from?
Ask Ian.
I'm just doing my bit for diversity and inclusion.
So what's this? Is it Gerry Anderson?
Yeah, this show would have been on yesterday, folks. It was the 10th anniversary of Gerry Anderson dying.
I saw the making of Thunderbirds and all the stuff that he did. Is a documentary on Netflix that's really good. That shows you behind the scenes and his people talking about him and stuff.
I honestly, Gerry Anderson is one of my favorite creators, people.
It's brilliant.
It shows what you can do with a budget and models if you pay attention to the models and pay attention to your writing and your characters. He was Thunderbirds. I unironically really love the original Thunderbirds. It looks
Same here. It's fantastic.
Give me the Thunderbirds with its models on strings over so much modern CGI heavy crap. There's more care and attention. It seems more loved and more real for that. And yeah, Thunderbirds is a childhood memory.
He didn't want to do it though, did he? I mean, he wanted to make stuff with real people, but they kept saying to him, you need to make more puppet shows.
Wow,
And
which one did
he got
do?
really fed up with it.
It was the underwater. Was it the one when it was underwater and they had
Stingray.
real
Yeah,
life people?
Stingray.
That was the one.
Stingray. He did Stingray, Thunderbirds, Captain Scarlet, Joe
Terrorhawks.
90, Terrorhawks.
Oof.
Did a lot of them.
UFO.
Yeah. Yeah, UFO was him breaking into the real actors, real thing, but
I
it didn't do
prefer
very
the,
well.
It was super marionetting was the style that
Yeah,
he pioneered.
yeah.
I genuinely prefer Captain Scarlet and Thunderbirds. As soon as he gets
Captain
to
Scarlet was ace.
real people,
Yeah.
the problem with that is that he becomes too much adherent to modern fashion. So all the men in particular, wear this like super gay fishnet type thing. It's just really no. It looks more dated even than Thunderbirds does because Thunderbirds doesn't rely on humans.
It was, I mean, they were in the documentary. They were saying they were doing visual effects, same time as Doctor Who was out, and they were trailblazers. I mean, Derek Meddings came from Thunderbirds. Derek Meddings, who eventually went on to do the
Moonraker.
special effects for James Bond. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, a lot of talented people came from his world. These shows. So yeah,
I think I do love Thunderbirds the 60s because when we came home from school, it would be on ITV
yeah.
on an afternoon, and Thunderbirds is fantastic. It's just great.
Also, without Gerry Anderson, you wouldn't have had Team America because
That's
Matt
true.
Stone,
They-
Trey
yeah,
Parker
yeah.
loved British TV and grew up with Thunderbirds and decided they wanted to try and do a comedic Thunderbirds. And they actually tried to. They showed Gerry
They did.
Anderson some of the footage and got his advice. And he said, "Well, obviously, some of the language is something I would never have condoned, but otherwise, the marionetting was good. yeah, the marionetting was good, but the language was also.
They
very good.
wanted to do Thunderbirds but couldn't because there was a real life version of Thunderbirds in
Yes.
production with Bill Paxman.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Jonathan Frakes directed.
Yeah.
They went the Spy Kids route, and it was awful.
It was bad because they got an American to try and understand a classic
Awful.
British show,
Yeah.
and he never did understood it. So, yeah, it was awful. There
We
you
have
go.
been corrected and rightly corrected in chat by Osella Squandracourse. It wasn't Gerry Anderson at all who pioneered this style. It was in fact Jennifer Lawrence.
Oh, here you go. Yes.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah.
I think should we just leave that up for the rest of the stream?
But
Bookmark it because it's very useful.
the reason why it worked so well was because when kids saw it, they wanted those toys because they look like toys on screen, don't they? And
Yeah.
Yeah.
and so when kids saw it, I wanted Thunderbird 2 when I was a kid.
My dad
Yeah,
kept
right.
loads of them growing up, and I did have Thunderbird 2 and Thunderbird 1. I think Thunderbird 4 was lost. I think I actually lost
Down the
Thunderbird
plug-
4 in the sea,
plug hole.
funnily enough. But but Thunderbird... No, I also had Thunderbird... No, I think I had all of them except Thunderbird 5 at some point.
Oh, nice.
Inherited.
It's really funny because if you watch the first episode of Thunderbirds, it explained exactly what Thunderbirds is all about. Plane was trying to land and the wheels wouldn't come out,
Yeah.
and they couldn't land, and then the Thunderbirds came along and they rescued
Fire
that
Flash.
plane and stuff like that. Yeah, and then you see the movie and you're like, what? Couldn't they not have done the bit what they did in the? It was just ridiculous. the movie.
Lord,
Absolutely.
if you like Thunderbirds
Yes.
and Gerry Anderson, you should check out Doppelganger. It's a movie that he made.
I think I might have seen it in the sense that I know the name very well, but
Yeah,
I can't place
Doppelganger.
the
It's
film.
where they send a ship to the far side of the sun.
But I like that mechanical simplicity as well of Thunderbirds.
Yeah.
Thunderbirds is very much, it's the height of science, but what happens if it goes wrong? And
Yes.
the humans who come to rescue you from the pitfalls of technology. You have the villain, the Hood, obviously.
Ben
But it's
Kingsley,
always,
yeah.
it's very focused on this is what's possible. It's not just what's possible hypothetically in terms of, this is science fiction. It's also, this is what's technologically possible for model making. And it's, everything about Thunderbirds is just really, really lovely and wholesome. And I try and rewatch it at least once a year.
Here you go, folks. Z3PO, the CGI reboot Thunderbirds I Go is very underrated, and I will totally agree.
CGI. I haven't seen it. I know there was a movie called Thunderbirds.
Weta Digital make that.
Oh, really?
It's really good. I think my only criticism is the episodes were basically 25 minutes.
Right.
But it did look great, and yes, it is good. Favorite Gerry Anderson guys, Ian?
I really like Captain Scarlet, but unfortunately the premise is really stupid. But I liked it because the puppets looked more realistic. If you know what I mean?
Even the CGI remake of that was pretty good.
I never saw it.
Here you go, Franco Walker, Roy Fiennes in Doppelganger. Yeah, Doppelganger was a great film. Branter, favorite Anderson?
Captain Scarlet as well for me. It was always the one I watched probably the most out of the lot of them. I always found the change from puppet to hairy hands whenever they were doing the controls rather strange.
Yeah.
Yeah, very strange.
Catty, I'm assuming you've not seen any.
You are assuming correctly. I have no idea what you're talking about.
You should check out some Gerry Anderson. I think.
Nah, the Americans don't understand Gerry
Space
Anderson at all.
1999. Check it out.
I mean,
They
Matt Stone
don't
and Trey
Well, I
Parker
do
did,
know
and
about
they're
the-
American.
Apart from they were
I
Canadian. though.
do.
No, they're
I
American.
do know the.
Are you sure?
I do know
Born in
the,
Colorado, yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
I do
Sorry,
know
Matt.
I do know the movie that you're talking about, but I never saw it. The Thunderbirds
Yeah,
movie.
it's terrible.
I just I never saw it. But Z3PO brought up the CGI TV show. I didn't watch it, but I do know what he's talking about with that one.
Yeah, why don't you watch you should watch Thunderbirds, the original Thunderbirds. It is just so fantastic.
Watch it with your
Right.
kids as well and see
Yeah,
what they
with your
make of
kids
it,
as
'cause
well, they will
it's
love
very, It's so very different to anything that's
Yeah.
on TV nowadays. It's not black and white, so it is
It's
more
something
sort of
for everybody.
yeah. It would be
Absolutely.
really interesting to see how your kids react to it now, given what they used to growing up with.
For sure.
Uh,
I'll,
Lord,
I'll
your
totally.
Lord, your favourite Thunderbirds?
I don't think that's a surprise to anyone. It's Thunderbirds.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? Here you go, Z, Captain Scarlet.
Captain Scarlet was very dark, though. Very, very dark.
Very,
it really was. Yeah.
There is one thing for Captain Scarlet,
Atom
which the one thing that
Scarlet.
sticks with me is I really want to use the scene transition with the drum beat. Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
At some point in a video, I am going to use that.
Short enough, yeah, short enough for a clip as well.
Excellent.
Franco, Stingray.
Excellent.
My personal favourite, I'm very, very partial. I am partial to Thunderbirds. I love Thunderbirds. Very partial to Space 1999.
Did any
Probably
of you
my
have the
favourite.
toys?
I
Yes.
think I had Thunderbird 1. I will never forget that episode of Captain Scarlet where they all died and it was a dream. They all got blown to bits. Anybody remember? Oh, you probably don't remember that episode. But yeah, it was really...
I think I've
scary.
got 7 Eagle transporters.
Oh,
I
you got some
I
eagles.
did have an eagle. I had an eagle transporter. I had Thunderbird 1, 2, 3,
I had the
and
dinky
4
ones as well.
temporarily. I had an eagle transport, and I had one of the. It was a green ship, but not Thunderbird 2. I think it was from Space 1999.
Eagle
it shot
transporter,
a missile
dinky.
out of the front, but it wasn't.
Oh,
the Eagle,
that's
'cause I had that.
Corgi.
that's UFO. That is UFO, the
Oh.
interceptor.
I
But
didn't have that as well. Yeah.
the eagle was it not made by Corgi? I used to have one. It was I think it was made. It
Dinky.
Was, was it Dinky?
Yeah.
I had one of them a long time
Yeah.
ago.
I had the
Yeah.
Joe 90. Is it his car he had? Like strange thing on the front.
Yeah,
wheels.
the car. Yeah.
Just looked at eBay. One's going for 99 quid.
Joe 90 was weird, wasn't it? They let
Yeah.
that little kid go on dangerous missions. Crazy.
Okay, so a visionary for anybody in the UK, Gerry Anderson. So many happy memories, Gerry Anderson. It's just a shame that maybe he never truly got the break he deserved to
No, he
make.
didn't.
Yeah.
Shame. Real shame.
But anyway, okay, shall we move on?
Carrie Fisher.
Today is the anniversary of Carrie Fisher dying.
Mm.
I think, is it 6 years?
Who'd have thought that she would die before Harrison Ford? That's
A
crazy,
Bueller,
right?
probably.
But seriously, she was so gorgeous when she was young,
I
wasn't
know,
she?
I know.
So gorgeous. Lovely woman.
If you remember, 2016 was the year we lost so many celebrities, but hers was really the one that kind of seemed to cut like a knife for the rest of them. I didn't really bother too much.
Heart attack on a plane.
She starred in a lot, and she also wrote screenplays as well, and she starred in a lot of movies as well after Star Wars. You know,
Blues Brothers.
ones that come to mind is what is it, Blues Brothers? When Harry Met Sally, she was in that too. You know what I mean? So she did a lot of stuff, and then I think she got hooked on drugs or something. Just like that, was it drinking? I can't remember. But yeah, it's a shame. Such a shame.
If you haven't seen her Wishful Drinking show, I would highly recommend getting a hold of it. It's very, very good.
She's so nice there, though. Look at
There you
that.
go. Stringer B, her mum followed soon after.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, she was so
Yeah,
depressed.
sad.
Yeah. It's a shame.
Here you go. Time Prophet, which probably wasn't too far. She probably died just after watching the Star Wars movie.
Well, which one? What, the
Force
Disney
Awakens. Force
one?
Awakens.
I don't know. Seriously. What did
Horrific
she
comment.
die of anyway, guys? What
Heart,
did she-
attack.
heart attack. She was on in a domestic flight in the US. She had a heart attack.
Wow.
She died 3-4 days later.
Wow.
I think she was travelling home for Christmas. I think.
She was on the Graham Norton show just a few days before.
Yeah,
Yeah, she was.
yeah,
It's enough to send anyone over the edge.
yeah,
of
yeah,
it.
yeah.
It's a shame. Such a shame.
This was the year before. I remember. Was it the
Which film?
the film what it always goes back to?
Oh dear.
Did she die the year?
Before the year before she.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they had 11 months to fix it, didn't they?
He did.
And not put the Lukey boy dying on a rock. They could have quite easily taken that out.
The biggest mistake that Disney made was didn't get those three together in the first one.
Yeah, absolutely.
They could have had it where when Leia did the Mary Poppins bit, she could probably have died, maybe not straight away, but died later on in the film. But again, they decided to keep it so they would need Carrie Fisher in the third film. But
No,
she
they kept her alive so she can tell off the main the main guy in it,
Yeah.
and the
Poe,
purple-haired girl could shoot him. Yeah, it's ridiculous, absolutely.
She should
shot
have
him.
died.
She shot him,
She should have died in the Mary Poppins sequence. The Mary Poppins sequence should never have been a thing.
That's right.
Yeah.
The most ridiculous, well, one of the most ridiculous aspects of that film. If you were going to kill her off, that was the time to do it. They didn't, and nothing got better as a result.
They chose poorly, didn't they?
Basically ripped that scene off from Guardians of the Galaxy anyway, even down to
they
the
did.
effects.
Yeah, they did. They did. But she was so nice in Empire, and just because I never thought I'd fancy her without her buns on her head. But then when I saw Empire Strikes Back, I thought, "Oof, lovely."
Just great, yeah.
And then Return of the Jedi happened, and I was never the same again. You know what I mean? that costume she was wearing is unbelievable. I was like,
I think we've triggered Appion. Sorry, Appion. Last Jedi, where creativity dies.
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
In fact, we have triggered him. Here we go. Appion again. Where hope dies.
You know, the question you got to ask yourself is: did she mind wearing that slave gear?
Did she?
Did she? Yeah. Did she? You
She
know, was
loved
there?
it.
Did she complain? I'm pretty sure she did.
She loved
At the
it.
time, did she? I guess at the time is different to did she mind after the fact.
Yeah.
She must have done
okay.
interviews on it. I've not seen any if she did, but she must have done interviews where she was asked about it. I wouldn't be surprised if after the fact she regretted it, but I don't remember.
But there's
reading
loads of
anything about-
pictures of her, you know, posing in it with the stunt girl and stuff like that, and smiles and everything. You know, got a picture of Mark Hamill hugging her in the, you know, in the suit and everything. And it's like, well, and then afterwards, because of all this crap that, you know, you shouldn't be wearing that and all that rubbish, it's like, oh yeah, I'm really sorry I wore it. It's like, bollocks, were you sorry? You weren't sorry when you were wearing it, though, were you? You
I
didn't
think she
mind
liked the
all
fact-
the men looking at her. You know,
I
Sorry.
think she liked the fact that she killed her and slave her in it more than
Yeah,
anything else.
yeah. You know, I just, yeah. Anyway, I just think this world's gone crazy now. It really has.
It has, mate. You are not wrong. Okay, so let's move on. We miss you, Carrie. You were amazing, and she was.
She was, yeah. What's this?
This is the big one this week.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes. What's it called? Blood.
The Witcher Blood Origin. And
Blood
actually, the
bollocks.
audience score has since gone down, I think,
Yes.
to 8%.
4-part miniseries of. Well, they've got everything inclusive. There's a deaf actor, two
let's see
males
what
kissing.
number it is. Yeah, let's see what number it is.
It's a prequel series to The Witcher. Is
1,000 years before The
is the
Witcher.
premise before it. Yeah, 1,000 years before. As far as I can gather, anyway, with none of the actual lore or material covering that
Here you go,
period of time.
8%. Ooh.
But a huge amount of the most brilliant, diverse people imaginable.
What channel is it on?
It's on Netflix. So it's Netflix's worst ever performing series. 8%.
It's not even in the top 10.
Nope. It's awful. I mean, I've not seen it yet, but in terms of its reception, it's the worst received thing they've ever done, I think.
There must be at least a new motor car out of that for you, Lord.
I don't know. 'Cause The Witcher has just been. I've never played the game.
Also, you don't drive, do you?
Also, don't drive.
Sorry,
But,
there must be a new
Oh, no, no,
chauffeur.
no, hold
I
on,
drive.
right?
I drive
It's
a boat.
it's number 2. it's number 2 in the UK charts. Number 2, Blood and
Blood Origin, yeah.
Yeah,
Blood
it's
and
number
guts,
2.
yeah.
According to
th-
this, it's number
that's
2.
it's the weird thing about it is that until today it was the top in terms of the UK in terms of viewing figures, but it's the worst thing they've ever done in terms of audience reception. It's way below anything.
I
There you
don't
go,
trust this though, mate. I mean, it says here that Onion film is number 1, and it says Knives Out is number 2. I don't trust these numbers.
Here you go. Acela Squadra Course. The Guardian liked it. Says,
They did,
All you need to really
There was another
know.
place, I think it was The Gamer, did a review today saying that it's the worst received Netflix thing ever, except
We like
that
it.
they trawled through all of the 1-star reviews and they decided that everyone leaving a 1-star review was a racist, homophobic, transphobic, male chauvinist bigot.
jeez.
Therefore, all of the bad reviews are suspect. However, it's one of those rare occasions where the audience and critics on Rotten Tomatoes agree, because as you see there, the critic score is only 35%, and I think that's dipped as well since that screenshot was taken. It's, from everything I've seen about it, and I mean to watch it later today, it is genuinely terrible, albeit with some good actors in it. I mean, Michelle Yeoh's in it, for example, and she's a reasonably good actress.
Shit
But,
in Discovery.
yes,
The thing is,
but a
though-
good actress in Discovery.
Yeah, but Ben, the thing is though, right? So
Lord,
Emily
by the
in
way.
Paris was slaughtered, right? When the first season, they thought it was absolute rubbish. It really did. The critics slagged it off. The people on YouTube slagged it off. Same thing with Blood and Origins, whatever this one's called. And Wednesday's gone completely woke. But on Netflix, on the charts, Emily in Paris is number 1, Blood and Origins is number 2, and Wednesday's number 3. I don't believe this at all.
Well,
I
there is
really
that, but
don't
then
believe it.
there is the meme. So Morbius, for example, the film was released
Yeah.
twice at the cinema because the studio thought that so many people watched it and hated it that it was so
Yeah.
popular. All the memes existed, therefore it was so popular they should release it again. At which point nobody went to see it again. I wouldn't necessarily think it's impossible that so many people are watching it, in large part because it is so hilariously bad. But I've not seen it yet, so I'm not going to make that conclusion.
Hostman says
watch
that
it
Mr.
later.
Brown answers me. I'd cancel my Netflix if it wasn't for the likes of Arcane. I just
Wait.
pray they don't screw up the second
You can
season.
rate it now. So you've got 2 thumbs up that says love it. This one is 1 thumb up says I like this, and the thumb down says rated. So it's ridiculous.
Here you go.
Absolutely.
Andy Mouse says, I thought Yo was dreadful.
She might well be.
I enjoyed the
find out
first
later.
two. I enjoyed the first 2 Witcher series, but I don't have any interest in this. It's interesting to note that Comic Book Resources claimed it was being review bombed, despite their own reviewer. It gave it an absolutely scathing review.
I saw that, yes. Review bond by their own staff.
Not for me. Hold on. So
No Cavill in the new.
whoa.
Well, yeah, but
What
it-
is
it
this?
said 1,000 years
Yeah,
before.
but
so
no Cavill in the
shouldn't be
new.
in it.
Yeah, this is.
Wait, whoa! Look, so the
Sorry.
ratings for this Blood and Thingy, whatever it is, love this, I like this, and the thumbs down says rated. Yet, if you go on another show, it says not for me with the thumbs down. Oh, I smell
Really?
bullshit here. Yeah,
Three
I
choices:
smell
liked
bullshit
it,
here.
liked
Is
it,
that on-
loved
is
it, and
that
I'm a
on-
bigot.
Is that on
What?
Rotten Tomatoes, that one?
No, it's on Netflix. I'm looking at Netflix. So Netflix,
okay.
you've got thumbs up or thumbs down, right? The one the thumbs down should say not for me, but on this show it says rated.
Interesting.
That is
Cooking
so
the
fucked
books.
up.
Might look that
is
up
so
later.
fucked
Okay.
up. That's
They're at it.
Okay,
no, I'm gonna take a screen grab of this.
A lot of people
do.
saying this is the worst thing this
Screen
year.
grab.
Because I'd sort of put off watching it because, again, I've never played the games and I've not read the books. And The Witcher is one of those things that sort of just escaped me. And the first 2 seasons, I
Yeah.
thought the first one was watchable, but I didn't really remember anything of it. The second season was even more tedious than that. But that was without any love of the source material. So, I mean, Brian, did you say you liked the first 2 seasons?
I thought the first one was really quite clumsily in the way it was told, but I certainly enjoyed the second season. Thought it was a vast improvement over the first.
Okay.
Again,
there
I'm
you
not
go.
a big game player, so I don't know quite how well it adhered to either the games or the books.
You go in the chat. When the Mega Geek says, "I don't believe it," it's "I don't believe it." Sounds like Victor Meldrew.
Probably is.
A few channels are saying this is the worst thing, even worse than She-Hulk.
Oh dear.
But anyway, okay.
Let me just save this. I'm going to send this to you.
And finally,
Yeah, please do.
What a lie. Let me go back on the channel and just give you an example.
okay. This I love memes. Don't you guys? This appeared last few days.
Okay, go away. Okay, right. So Glass Onion, the thumbs are love this, like this, and not for me. So I'll take a snapshot of that.
Uh-huh.
So you can't say not for me for the woke thing, which
You can
is
just say rated.
it has a 3, and none of them says not for me.
Is there a
And the
fuck
other
Ryan
films, it says
Johnson
not for me.
option?
No, no. Oh, what? This
should
is,
be.
This is such bullshit.
My
man.
dad actually put The Last Jedi on the other day. He'd never seen it before.
Oh,
And he's not a huge Star Wars person, but like, he's familiar, but he'd never seen any of the sequels. I think he saw that. I think I'd been watching a bit of it just to remind myself of the horror. And so I got back from 2 days at my mum's for Christmas, and he said, "So I watched The Last Jedi the other day."
Oh,
I said, "Oh yeah," and he said, "Yeah." I said, well, "What did you think of it?" And he said, "Well, it was shit." Like, why? Because like obviously like we're involved with the cultural side of it as well, but he's not. So it's like I was interested. Why do you not like this film? I said, well, the stories makes no sense. Even the basic editing stuff is garbage, and I had to turn it off after half an hour. So he didn't even get to the best bits. But
what, the iron,
There is no best
flying
bits.
iron spaceship.
he missed the Holdo maneuver. God damn it! That's a iconic moment.
Oh, seriously. We're being conned, mate. We're being conned.
Here you go. Melvin Deeply at Mr. Brown Alliance. That is still me. Are you sure you're not gay? This Tom Cruise fixation is getting a bit creepy.
Isn't everyone slightly gay for Tom Cruise, though? Doesn't count.
One of the
everyone in
few
film,
professionals left, true professionals left in Hollywood. Okay, so shall we go through this? Yes or no? Wasn't a trick question.
yeah.
Okay, so the meme is old Luke, old Maverick. Who would like to start? Should we start with Luke? Old and grumpy. True? What do you
Yes.
think? Old Maverick. Older and wiser.
Is he wiser in Top Gun Maverick? Is he not making a lot of the same kind of
I don't know.
rash mistakes? I'll give them that. I'll give them wiser.
Okay.
Into shooting The Last Jedi, I'll give them that.
What's this? Oh, sorry. I've been sending
We've-
those pictures.
Yeah, we finished talking about The Witcher.
No, I was just
About
sending you
10 hours
the
ago.
Ah, bummer.
I just sent you the proof that we're being conned. So there you go. All right. So what are we talking about here? Old Luke, old Maverick.
So, old Luke's easy.
Easy. Yeah.
hell was that?
Don't know.
I'm going to kick Matt.
Sorry, it was me. sorry. I was putting on my jacket because I'm a little cold, and the zipper hit this chair, or the metal part of this chair.
Why, when you come back, why do you always sound mega loud when you come back?
too close to the mic.
I apologize.
I know you're
it was-
excited to be here. I know. Okay, have you seen this,
apologize.
Matt? This meme appeared
I
on
did see
the
this.
Twitter a couple of days ago.
I love how naturally
did,
you
it's-
say the word meme as though meme culture is a thing you actually keep on top of. At least you're not calling it a meme or something. That's a start.
Meme. Okay, so so it says there, old Luke, nothing like the real Luke.
Oh no.
True.
What?
Old Maverick, same core character.
How comes you can't see the pictures?
Ian, we'll talk about something else here. Old Luke gives up on the Jedi. Did he give up?
Yes. He literally says it's
Yes.
time for the Jedi to end. So yes.
Yes.
Okay. Maverick still believes in Top Gun.
Haven't seen it. I'll defer to you.
Oh, have you not watched it? Oh, for fuck's sake.
No.
I watched it
good.
yesterday. Fucking hell. I was fighting the tears back. That is how good it is.
It is good.
Old Luke, ridiculed. Do we ridicule him?
Yes.
Old Maverick, respected. Yeah,
Go
definitely.
away. It's no.
Get away.
Old Luke refuses to train Ray.
Well, he
Kind of.
does eventually trains her, though.
Well,
So that's not
begrudgingly started training her, yes. Maverick trains new pilots, yep, and loves it, and he cares about them as well.
Puts his life on the line.
Yeah. Oh, here you go. Plus point for Luke. Sad and pathetic. That's spot on, yeah.
Well, yes. I mean, I guess the counter argument would be that he comes back in the end. He does do the force projection thing to distract Kylo in order for people to escape. And until the Rise of Skywalker, that is kind of a repudiation of the sad and pathetic thing. It's only when you get the Rise of Skywalker that you realize he actually could have not done that, and actually he committed suicide by doing that. In which case he is, yes, sad and pathetic,
Yeah.
but he's not supposed to end The Last Jedi sad and pathetic.
And they could have changed that. That's the thing what fucks me off the most. Just
Yes.
cut that last 5 seconds of that scene out, and then he's in the next film.
True, or cut all 3 films entirely and do it
yeah.
again, but
Yeah, but you can't get the actors back. Maverick, jaded but inspiring. That's how I feel.
God.
I'm
Moving on.
jaded but
Moving on.
inspiring.
Okay. Yeah, I could have that on my channel, jaded but inspiring.
That could be your tagline. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, we'll go back to Luke. Won't fight.
Well, he wasn't there. How could he fight if he wasn't there?
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, it was like a ghost, wasn't it?
Stupid.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Yeah, how could he project himself across the galaxy? How the fuck does that work?
That's not even real force,
Is
is
that
it?
fucking teleportation?
Disney
Bollocks.
Disney
It's
force.
in,
Isn't it?
it's in one of the books, and it's in a comic book as well.
Okay, back to old Maverick. Fights despite the odds. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Old Luke dies for nothing.
Yes.
Well, he believes in nothing.
He did die for something. He died at the altar of agenda.
He died for Ryan Johnson's ego. Is why he
Yeah.
died.
Old Maverick puts his life on the line.
He did.
Yeah,
Doesn't look old though, does he?
yeah. Where does Jennifer Lawrence come into this? Anybody know?
Well, she's at the beginning of all of it, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. She trained
She taught
Maverick and
how-
Luke.
Yeah, she trained
Yeah.
him.
she trained Maverick.
She trained both of them.
So, Lord, question. You're quite an intelligent Lord.
God, I wouldn't go that far.
I just pretend, and everyone goes along with it.
What is the message there on that graphic for the people at home? I'm just trying to come up with a decent question. What is that teaching the viewing public at home?
Well, the 3-word answer is that nihilism doesn't sell.
Yeah.
Well,
You actually have to
Disney-
stand for something. You can't just be
Disney will argue that
a
point,
sad
wouldn't
cynic. Well, they would, and then the box office will correct them, I think. But no, there is value in positive role models. There's value in heroes. Not everything has to be deconstructed, and people actually quite like having somebody above them to aspire to emulate, as opposed to somebody who just replicates every one of their doubts and insecurities, which is what old Luke does. That's the fundamental difference. Old Luke is a reflection of the worst aspects of our nature, and old Maverick is accepting of our cynicism, but also directing it to something better and more positive than we have been able to apply it to. So he's something to idolize, and Luke is not.
That's right.
If somebody in Hollywood was looking at that graphic, what would that be teaching them? Anybody have an idea?
They won't be looking at that. They'll be trying to cancel whoever put that up in the first place. So that's what they don't give a shit about this stuff.
Does anybody know how much the Last Jedi made? I know it was over $1 billion. Was it about 1.2, 1.3?
Was it over $1 billion?
Was it 1.3 billion, I think.
Yeah, and Mavericks made 1.5.
No.
Who'd have thought?
Well, yes, but Star Wars carries a lot more by way of innate sort of cultural value than Top Gun does. So Top Gun is one film once that people of a generation remember. Star Wars is Star Wars. That's an entirely different proposition. So it really should. Star Wars should be streets ahead even of Top Gun, but it wasn't. So
Maverick essentially was Star Wars. The final act.
The trench run.
Yeah, essentially Star Wars. Anyway, okay. So there's a lesson in there, folks. Anyway, okay. I think that is it. Hey, please consider donating to the channel, blah, 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 all that stuff. Let's get the guest back up. Indeed. I think that is it, folks. So,
Mr. Potter?
are we definitely finished? We don't want 15 minutes overtime, do we? Or are we going?
50 minutes of talking bollocks, Brown. I'm up for that.
I can do that.
Yeah, I
Okay,
just put my kids to bed, so I'm good.
Okay, so I think we've got a bonus 17 minutes, folks. So if there's anything you want to talk about,
You told me it was 15 minutes. God damn it, that's different.
I'm looking at my clock. By the time I finish saying this, it will be 15.
I can
Okay,
also do 17. It's all good.
so subjects. Brian, go.
Well, I'm just about to pour myself another Jack Daniels. I was hoping you're going to carry the ship for 5 minutes, Brown. I get myself a refill, but the last Apion says the Last Jedi destroys everything. I would go along with that.
That's kind of.
He also says that maneuver is bullshit.
Hodo. Hodo is fucking.
Do you know what? Right,
The pink rinse maneuver, isn't it?
on the radio, they keep advertising that Onion film all the time and mentioning Roundhead.
Oh my god, have
Ryan's
you
name.
seen it?
Everywhere. No.
Don't want to see it.
Oh, don't. It's terrible. It's terrible.
Has it been hailed as a masterpiece? I
he's
think it
such a
might be.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying it's like so good, but I find it pretentious and it's so obnoxious most of the time. Like it's so stupid. Although
I would
you
just
know,
say I would just say to Andy Mouse, I've applied for my driving license because the passport would take too long.
Don't care about Onion films.
I
Keep
like
on top
the
of that, Bernie.
idea that we have a real deficit. That there's that whole genre piece of the sort of the sleuth detective in the country manner, which I think is what Ryan Johnson was trying to do. I love that genre of thing. Like Miss Marple, Sherlock Holmes, Poirot, all the rest of it. Ryan Johnson is not the person to do that because
right.
he is so smug and everything is over stylized. He's like a guy pretending to do that genre rather than a person who's actually embedded in the genre itself and the reason it comes to be. And so I watched the first of them and I don't even remember what it's called. I thought it was all right.
Knives Out.
Knives Out, that's the one. It was okay. Daniel Craig is not an American and he can't act. Doesn't help.
And he's a wanker.
Also a wanker.
And his accent is
but, you know,
ridiculous.
Kill Bond. Never
also, I
forget him.
had to sit there, watch it, and thinking, I'm going to very, very particularly forget that Ryan Johnson did this because I'm not going to judge it against what Ryan Johnson did for Star Wars. And forgetting that, I thought it was just okay. It wasn't anything amazing, but if I wanted to watch that genre piece, I would go back to the 50s, 60s, and 70s and watch Poirot, Marple.
I'd rather just watch Columbo, but that's just me.
Or Columbo, yes, yeah, Columbo.
and-
Only one
host-
technique, but he uses it well.
Go ahead.
Go on.
Oh no, I thought you were going
Go
to
on.
read this
No,
comment.
go on,
I
go
was
on,
just
go
gonna
on,
say,
go on, you-
he's
go on,
trying
go on.
so hard to make in this second one. He's so hard to make a detective, whatever his name is from Knives Out. He's trying to make him Columbo the whole time. And that first one, it's not a murder mystery because there's no murder. It's a I can't say the word on YouTube, but it's an offing, and it's not a murder. And like once you figure out, it's so stupid. I hate that movie. It's so dumb. It's like so they're both pretentious.
We've been
and,
asked.
sorry.
Have we played Knights of the Old Republic?
Yes, firmly
yeah, like
yes.
a long time ago.
Some of the
No.
best role-playing games you will ever play. It just so happens
Yes.
also to be Star Wars, which makes it even better. If you can forgive the now dated graphics, it's in terms of its writing, it's such a solidly well done story where your choices actually matter.
Nice.
It does moral ambiguity in grey areas in a way that The Last Jedi can't even approach. I wholeheartedly, anyone who hasn't played Knights of the Old Republic, who wants a good Star Wars story from the old expanded universe set way before even, anything you're familiar with, Knights of the Old Republic, both of those games, even though the second one was badly rushed and came to a premature conclusion, you can mod it to get the original story. But they are both brilliant games. and
I will say,
recommend them.
guys, you got 10 minutes to ask any of the panel any question. So, okay. Appion asks, favourite movie of 2022?
Just before you hit that one, the second part of that question was, what do you think about the remake?
Oh,
I
sorry,
believe
forgive me.
the remake has the remake's been delayed, and one of the key writers on it, who was attached to a number of, I believe, quite like overtly, boringly feminist stuff, has since been dropped. So it's sort of in that in between stage. It's been delayed, which doesn't usually augur well.
Yeah.
But it's also lost a particularly objectionable writer, which might mean that they are redirecting it. All they need to do is do the original game with updated mechanics and gameplay and graphics. That's all they need. Don't change the story. The story's amazing.
This is Star Wars, isn't it?
Yeah, and if they're changing that, then it will be. I'm interested to see what they do.
Okay. So, Appion, favorite movie 2022, guys. Brian.
I was trying to get the name of this film, but I cannot remember it, so I'm going to have to go to my default picks of either Top Gun Maverick or Violent Night.
Okay. Matty.
Top Gun Maverick.
Ian.
Yeah, Violent Night. I like Top Gun Maverick, but I mean, let's face it, it wasn't the greatest movie ever made. It was very, very entertaining, but our sheer enjoyment though was definitely Violent Night because I laughed all the way through it. So.
Yeah, me too.
Lord, favorite movie.
Was
The
Dune
Avatar.
this year or last year?
No, it was last year.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it was. I think it was November. It was October last year. Yeah. Can you believe it?
Then I'm gonna have to pass. I don't remember.
His favourite film is Avatar,
Avatar.
2.
Yeah, it's Avatar,
Avatar 2. Yeah.
Okay, let's have a look. Here we go. Stringer B, best show of 2022. Lord, do you want to go first?
Tulsa King. Tulsa
Was Arcane this year or last year?
No, it wasn't. It was last year.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Not having much look.
Was Tokyo Vice this year or last year?
This year, fucking brilliant.
Okay, so far I'm liking that, so I'll go for Tokyo Vice.
Tokyo Vice is fantastic. Ian, you like Tulsa King, don't you?
Tulsa King, man. Yep.
Matty? She-Hulk.
House of the Dragon. Oh yeah, She-Hulk.
God,
She-Hulk
yeah,
is
yeah.
Oh, we've got a change of mind, folks. Lord,
Yes,
do you
sorry,
want
no,
to
yes.
change?
Yeah, I can't cheat, so House of the Dragon is my favourite show of this year. Or it's between that and Andor, but probably House of the Dragon.
Brian?
Yeah.
Sorry, Branter?
I'm going to have to grudgingly go with House of the Dragon. As well as it was well written, I thought the pacing was all over the place. It was too fast in some areas and horrifically slow in others. So I think in absence of something, but do you know what? Fuck it, I'm going to go for Better Call Saul, even though I hated the
Oh, yeah, I
ending.
forgot about that. Yeah,
I just
yeah, yeah.
I
That's
cannot go
great
for House of the
too.
Dragon as
Yeah.
much as it was okay.
That was great too. Yeah. Better Call Saul. I forgot that finished this year. Yeah, great show.
I think I'm going to say Better Call Saul because there were some quality episodes in that. So, yes.
Really good.
Although Tulsa King is fantastic. Okay, shall we see if any other questions? Anybody see any other questions?
Well, biggest question is what did everybody think of the trailer for that Doctor Who thing?
There is a lot of love for Tulsa King.
No,
I don't
Yeah.
watch Doctor Who, so
we know.
Look at you.
because
Look at you.
You're an American.
That's a closing question. What is everybody looking forward to in 2023?
Looking forward to having a poo every night, and I don't know. Nothing happened.
Adam Gray says Tokyo Vice is horrendous. Wow.
There's no good films out next year, or is there?
Dune.
well,
No, it's
I'm
not.
looking
Yeah,
forward to
June
all of the
23
DC movies.
Also, Marvel Phase 5, guys. Come
Ugh.
on.
Phase
Oh
five.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna be
There
great.
must be something
I can't wait for
There you go.
the
Should we-
Marvels.
Better Call Saul was my favourite, mainly due to Lalo. Yeah, he was bad.
Yeah, it was excellent.
I do want to see that Red One with The Rock and Chris Evans. I think that looks
Red
or sounds
One?
interesting.
What's
I
that?
haven't put on a trend. Yeah, he's like I think The Rock is like a bodyguard to Chris Evans. I think that's the
Really?
Here you go.
Yeah, hold on, I'm
Stranger Things 5 out next year.
Is that this year? I thought it was next year. As in 2024, as opposed to 23. But
No, that's out next year. Stranger Things 5.
oh,
apparently.
in which case, I'm looking forward to that. I think I want to see the brand new terrible directions the MCU goes in. That could be fun. Mando season 3, likewise, probably
Oh,
for
yeah.
purely masochistic reasons. I want to see how they debase that character. But it would be lovely to think they fixed him. Dune is the only one I'm looking forward to,
Yeah, I'm looking forward to
unironically,
that.
in the sense that might actually have a story worth telling. But I can't think of anything else at the moment.
Have you
Better than the
guys?
first one. Bloody hell.
Oh, I
That's
liked it.
so
Have you
dull.
guys seen all the Marvel films? Because I've only seen one.
Yes,
No,
I
my
think
interest in Marvel has been waning since about 2015 after Age of Ultron. I've just
Yeah.
watched the occasional one here and there.
Saw Doctor Strange. I think that's the only one I saw. Oh no, Thor: Love and Thunder rubbish. That saw that.
Oh, you didn't?
Absolutely.
You didn't see Spider-Man?
That wasn't
Saw
this year
Spider-
though.
Yeah, that was end of last year. that
Sorry,
was,
yeah.
but-
Sorry, I thought we were just talking about Phase 4 in general. But you are correct. Yeah, that did not come out this year.
Here
The
you go,
Marvel this year
Hostman.
sucked.
Oh yeah, Arcane season 2.
Arcane
Doom
season
Part
2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for Arcane. Yeah,
So you go, and Andy says Andor 2, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not excited about it.
Two of the best
Mandalorian
films
is
I
out
saw
in
this
February.
year. Two of the best films I saw this year was
March.
Jaws and Wrath of Khan. Would you believe? Because they re-released that, didn't
The
they?
re-releases.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
I think the Mandalorian's March, Brown.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Have they put that back even further then? Wow.
end of March.
Well, the Bad Batch comes out. I think the first episode is the 4th of
Bad
January.
Batch was rubbish. Then I had that season 1. It was terrible.
I've
What?
been saying Arcane
What,
is
the end of
wonderful.
it? Arcane is wonderful. If you're not watching that, you should. But
That's
Bad Batch, the end of this season, the back half wasn't too bad. When they destroy Camino and everything, I thought that was pretty good.
I didn't get that far.
Oh well, yeah. The
didn't know
first
this-
half is very. What was that?
I didn't know they destroyed Camino.
Yeah. Sorry.
Spoilers.
Spoiler alert!
When is
But it's been out
there's
for a
the
while,
Acolyte.
so-
The Acolyte's coming out next
What's
year.
that?
isn't it?
I don't
Star
think that's
Wars.
coming out. I thought that was 2024. The Acolyte.
Oh, in which case it might be Ahsoka that's coming out next year.
Ahsoka's first, I think. Yep.
Yeah.
So is it Ahsoka
Yeah, I
next year
think
and the
yeah.
Acolyte in 2024?
You're
If I-
genuinely interested in them, Lord?
Well, I'm interested only in the
It's
sense
Star
that
Wars, isn't it?
well, yeah, I love Star Wars, and I'm not interested in the sense that I think they'll be good. I hope they will be, but I'm not expecting them to be. It's just I know that they are coming, and I would be interested to see where they go with that. There are good things they could do with them, but there are very interesting bad things they could do with them too, which is more likely.
Did you
folks.
like
Scott-
Rosario?
I did. I do.
Yeah, I do as well, yes. Scott Hall, nominate Jessica Gare for Writer of the Year. Stunningly and bravely unfunny. And more importantly, thinking they're clever, and they're not.
No. On the preceding point, though, Rosario Dawson has been recast, hasn't she, for the live action?
What?
No,
She's not playing
no,
the
she
live
isn't.
action Ahsoka.
You are...
She
Really?
Yeah, no, she still is. She
What?
still is.
I'm
Hold on,
sure
looking it
I
up
read
now
that.
you said that. Hold
I'm sure I read that
What?
someone else was playing a live action Ahsoka.
She had some problematic issues that were raising their ugly head, didn't she?
I'd like to grab those two things in her head, and I think I'll stop there. She's lovely.
Is she not in the Ahsoka then? Is she gone?
I thought that I read that she was being replaced, but maybe I'm wrong. Oh no, I've just googled it. Apparently, no, she is still playing her.
She was in
Someone else.
Daredevil.
There you go,
wasn't
folks.
She
A
was in
world
Daredevil.
first. The Lord was wrong.
She was in
Timestamp
Daredevil.
that, folks.
Gorgeous.
What did
Time,
I read then? It'd been
time
recast.
stamp it.
Yeah, timestamp it. I'm sure I read that some important
Timestamp it,
character in a
folks.
Star Wars thing had just
There,
been changed.
there
by-
are some
Oh, here you go.
YouTube videos that say that there's a
Oh,
new
no.
person.
Second actress to play a young Ahsoka.
That must be it. I think that's the thing I read, was that someone else was playing Ahsoka, and I mistakenly said that was...
Also, Daredevil's coming out, and it Born Again's
Well,
coming out next year.
Right
Should
on.
be awful.
They need to stop doing a young Ahsoka, because Tales of the Jedi, they did like a baby Ahsoka, and that was the worst episode. It was so useless. Like there's like a tiger in there or some crap like that. It was stupid.
How could we forget Indiana
no one's
Jones
in-
5 as well?
Indiana Jones, is Deadpool coming out next year as well?
I
No,
forgot
that's the
about
year,
Indiana
that's the year
Jones.
after,
Oh.
because what's his name? I would imagine Jackman will need a year to bulk up, probably.
Yes. So Indy 5 is
Yeah.
the next big one, really.
When is that being
so
released?
exciting.
What month? What month?
June, July. There's also
Hopefully the 10th of February.
there's also the was it the Wasp and
Oh, that's
the
gonna
other
be
girl
lovely.
Ant-Man
in
and
February.
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
In February.
Quantumania. Yeah, that's the one.
So his daughter makes a mistake, and they all get zapped into a tiny little universe, and nobody tells her off or slaps her head or just gives her a kick in for doing that.
And Michael Douglas says fuck all.
I
Apparently.
like it though because this is the first time since I started YouTube full time that I've had
Oh, nice.
more than 2 weeks without a Marvel thing to review. I've got 3 months before I have to go back to fucking Marvel, so that's quite nice.
Fucking Marvel. And on that bombshell, folks, I think that is it. So, chats, we were very, very last moments. Always great to see you guys. A few new faces, or a few faces who I recognise, I think. So, guys, you are wonderful. We are truly nothing without the chats. I thank you. So I will thank the guests in order of my screen, not Branta Claus.
Thanks, Brownie. Thanks also to Matt Cat, Ian, Lost, Cord, and the chat.
Matty Catty 83, thank you.
Thank you for having me. I always have a good time with you guys.
The wonderful Mega Geek Ian David Diaz, cheers in.
No worries, guys. No worries.
And it's the Lord, folks. The little platoon. Praise be the lad. We are honoured. We are honoured.
If I can be slightly soppy, because I'm probably not going to be around now until 2023, so this might be the last time I get to say hello to everyone, but it's been highlight of this year has been you guys and the chat. It's been lovely to have this thing to go back to, even when times are shit and everything's difficult. It's nice to have people to chat with casually, but also on a very well-produced stream. So thank you all. Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, and I will see you soon.
Don't forget, my friend, you occasionally need to kick back at times. Don't forget.
Yeah, this last 2 days has been the first time for more than 2 years I've even tried to do that. So, but the fun thing has been these streams. So keep them going. Well done. You've hit more than 1,000 subs. And
cheers, Lord.
onwards and
Thank you.
upwards for next year.
Okay.
Are you on the right stream?
He's been dropping acid, probably. I think that is it, folks. We're gonna try. In fact, we are. We're gonna do a top 10 best and worst, and then we're gonna probably try and do that New Year's Eve if I can get my ass in gear. Then we'll do something New Year's Day. Hopefully, something special. So, I think that's it, boys and girls. We'll probably see you hopefully in a couple of days, 2 or 3 days time. So I think that's it. Take care, everybody. Enjoy. If you're on holiday still, on vacation, enjoy the rest of your break. So I think that is it, folks. Taddy bye. We're going. We're out of here. See you later. Take care. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye.